Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It is Brighton versus Manchester United. Few bugs in system, which means I'm a couple of minutes later than I normally would be. But team news is about to come in, so hoping, fingers crossed, big message to Fellaini. You don't publicly throw the team under the bus and be a contract rebel and he's not in the team. And hopefully we'll see Rashford and Martial starting. And I'm going to be greedy and say Mata as well. I feel it's unfair what's happened to Mata in recent weeks with regards to United. So let's see what's going to happen. Bit of a cough there. And we're up and running. Team news should be coming in any minute. Now, how are we all doing? How are we all doing? Friday night football. Not a massive fan, but we're live and it is what it is. And I'm hoping that Manchester United will put on a display. And I think what makes it interesting is the team news and who he goes with. There's just no way in my lifetime that I think he should be playing anybody that who's been playing regularly. My prediction is 3-0. And Bibad has said love from India. And Stretford Ender says, how you doing? I'm good. Martial up front is the big news. And Martial up front, yes, Martial, Rashford and Mata. Back of the net, Fellaini. There's always Fellaini, isn't there? I think that's a disgrace. I think it's a disgrace that Fellaini's starting. I'm going to get that out of the way. Really poor by Mourinho. Just seems to do this all the time. Why? Actually, I'm just going to vent about that straight away and say, why the hell is Marouane Fellaini playing for Manchester United? Absolute disgrace. McTominay on the bench, Herrera on the bench, and bloody Fellaini comes in. Ashley Young is captain, Smalling and Rojo, Darmian at right back, and De Gea in goal. Matic, Fellaini, Pogba, Mata, Rashford, Martial, Lingard, McTominay, Herrera, Luke Shaw's on the bench, Lindelof, Bailly, Romero. Why is Lindelof not playing as well? You can't have the cast. You can't have everything. You can't have everything, and I am happy with that team. But yes, Rashford, Martial, Mata, very very pleased with that. But Fellaini just brings a certain thing to that team straight away, and it worries me. I always say this: whenever Martial starts, he seems to have to start in a midfield three, with a midfield three that's got Fellaini in it. Well, Matic is not going to provide him with good ball. Fellaini's not going to provide him with good ball. So if Pogba doesn't have a good game, it makes it very difficult for Mata, Rashford and Martial to imprint themselves on a game. Sanchez starts and Lingard start with Herrera and Pogba. So they've already got an advantage. They've got two players who want to play on the ground quick football. Martial, Rashford and Mata tonight, they've got Donkey Kong in the middle, haven't they? They've got Fellaini in there who doesn't like to play quick ball. And it's sort of... Jared just said it there, happy, but Fellaini, it's not really that he's starting, it's just the style of football that we know we're going to see. But I personally just think it's a disgrace that he's starting. He's basically slated as publicly this week and gets to start in a game, and I really don't agree with that. But I'll get the team news typed out for you now. But after publicly slating the club, it just sends the wrong message totally. But it's all about opinion, isn't it? It's all about opinion. Everyone's going to have a different opinion. So look, some of yours. Martial to score, says Jedja. Last game of Darmian, says Ankit. Will you ever give Fellaini a break, says Thomas O'Brien. Look, Thomas, why the hell should I give him a break? Are you blind and deaf? This week, he basically he slated my club. He slated your club. Now, Mourinho may think that's all right. Ed Woodward may think that's all right. But as a fan of Manchester United, I don't think it's all right. I don't think it's all right for him to say, I don't care if I go to China, it'll be a nice trip. I don't think it's all right for him to say the club made a big mistake. I don't think he should be anywhere near that squad. And the hypocrisy as well that really annoys me about it is Mourinho politically gives Scott McTominay his player of the year. That wasn't about Scott McTominay. That was about Mourinho going to all the press, up yours, I pick youth. Well, why are you not picking it tonight? Why are you not picking your player of the year tonight and you're picking a contract rebel? I would play Herrera over Fellaini, of course I would, but why is Scott McTominay not starting tonight when it's the manager's player of the year and he picks Fellaini? It just absolutely baffles me. But I'm joined by Andy, because I've got to get this team typed out. Evening, Andy, how you doing?
I'm good, Mark. You?
Good. I'm very pleased. I'm very, very pleased with the front three. I'm not pleased that Marouane Fellaini gets to start. Nothing to do with the fact that I can't stand him as a footballer and his long ball magnet head. But I can't stand the fact that, for me and a lot of fans, he ridiculed the club this week. And he starts over Scott McTominay, who apparently is Mourinho's Player of the Year. Very
worrying, isn't it? Very, very worrying. I saw quite a lot of that, the Player of the Year award. And I completely agree with you, Mark. It was a very, very political move from Mourinho, because McTominay's made, maybe 9-10 appearances, and fair enough. Definitely going to give him a chance, because he's come from our youth setup, and he didn't play particularly badly in those games, but no way is he Player of the Year. I fully expected him to say maybe Lukaku or Matic, one of his favourites, but that was a very political move by Mourinho, and I don't think it was right either. The award's meant to be about the players, and I think Mourinho made it a bit about himself. But
and your thoughts on the team in general, though?
I'm relatively happy with it, to be honest. Darmian at right back worries me a little bit. Smalling and Rojo, I'm not really sure why he's gone with Rojo, but maybe it's because of those comments he made in the week about Eric Bailly. But the front three, I'm absolutely ecstatic with. I think Rashford, it says on Sky Sports, I'm looking on the app now, it's got Mata, Rashford, Martial. So to me, that would suggest that Rashford's playing through the middle. But I'm just buzzing that Martial's starting either on the left or up front. I would have preferred to see Martial start up front, but I'm absolutely ecstatic that he's starting anyway. That is the major bit of positivity for me.
Yeah, I mean, it would sort of fit in as well with some of the rumours that have been around Manchester United this week, that especially that Manchester United are going to play Martial more centrally to try and get him to sign a new contract. So be interesting to see if he does play there. I mean, I must admit, and I don't know what everybody else thinks, I'm not bothered about Martial playing through the centre. That's not something that really excites me. I think he's the best left winger we've got, and I think I think he's more effective there. And what worries me about him playing up front is that as soon as Lukaku's fit, he may as well go and play for the kids, because he's never going to get a look in anyway. I'd much rather see Rashford up front, because I think that suits England better, and Martial on the left.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Martial, he's had more game time out on the left as well, hasn't he? We converted him into a left winger even in his debut season under Van Gaal.
In relation to Fellaini coming into that midfield three, there's a few people in the comments that have flagged up something that's quite interesting as well. The fact that he has gone with his strong midfield of Pogba and Matic, but he's playing Fellaini. Do you think this is now his strongest midfield three, or do you think he's actually just giving Herrera a bit of a rest?
I think, yeah. I hope that he's given Herrera a rest. I really hope this isn't his new strongest midfield three, because that's very, very worrying. I saw a comment in the live comments actually saying maybe he's putting Fellaini in the shop window. I can't see that.
I've read this before. How are we putting him in the shop window? He's free.
Yeah,
we get nothing. We get nothing from playing him. So I think I reverse actually, Andy. I think what he's doing is he's playing him to try and get him to sign a new contract.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Mourinho's begging him to stay. It's not like he's wanting him to go. If anything, he may be putting Martial in the shop window.
Yeah. Because he has got a value. He has got a value, hasn't he? So.
Not free in the summer.
Yeah, look, it's the one thing that gets me really wound up, and I got very wound up after the Arsenal result, even though he scored a winner, and he may well score a winner tonight. But I do struggle with it very, very much so, because I don't get it. I do not get it. I don't get what the fascination is with him. And what I was saying before is that I always feel sorry for Rashford and Martial and Matas to a certain extent, because they are playing in a game where the opposition are, they're going to be fighting for their lives. But you look at that United team, and it isn't Antonio Valencia, is it? It's not Antonio Valencia playing. It's Darmian playing, and it's Fellaini in the midfield, who isn't as creative as a Herrera or even a McTominay. So it's whether we can provide them with that decent ball from back to front.
Exactly. I just wanted to bring in as well, Matt. I actually saw it was about 25-7. I can't remember the guy's name. I was just looking on Google to see if I could get any early team news. And there was a guy that actually got it spot on. He said that Sanchez hasn't even travelled, and I'm looking at the bench and he hasn't. He's got it spot on. Sanchez hasn't even travelled for this one, which I find a bit bizarre from Mourinho.
Yes, that is an interesting one. Very, very good point there. I hadn't even considered that myself. I'm just hoping we're just still live here. I mean, my laptop has this tendency to mess up when I'm on Chrome, and it's now decided it's going to also mess up when I'm everything else. So I'm actually, all I can see is my broadcasting system and Skype's running, which is great. But I'm blind as to whether we're actually live still. Hopefully we still are. Let's have a look. That can go as well. But what's your score prediction, Andy? Still there?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just cut off a little bit there. I'm not sure what happened. Score prediction. I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0 United. I think Rashford and Martial are going to score.
Good. Let me have a look here. See if we've got everyone still watching. Yes, we have. Team news for you guys. Okay, I need to get this team news up and running anyway. So, the subs I haven't got up for you yet, but everything else is up. Hopefully this isn't a prelude of who's going to play in the FA Cup. And Fellaini hat-trick incoming, says Alan Lees. I mean, there is an element of that with Fellaini as well, Andy, to be fair, that he is just picking him to sort of integrate him into the team, I suppose. And you'll be hoping that he has another good game so he can publicly come out and say what a great player he is again. Ultimately, I've been a bit like a yo-yo. I thought he was definitely staying after the last game. Then the public comments, I thought, well, how do you come back from that? And now I'm like, oh, I don't know. And now I think he's definitely going to stay.
Yeah, I never agree with this public begging of any player to stay, to be honest. If we had to beg a player to stay, for me it'd be Martial, but a club of Manchester United's size and stature, we shouldn't be begging anyone to stay. If they really want to go, then let them go. Then I'd say even that for De Gea and Martial, if they're not happy, then let them go. Obviously I want them to stay because they're both unbelievable. It's just, I can't see this Fellaini obsession. A part of me thinks, the pessimistic side of me thinks that Mourinho's doing it to spite the fans, because he knows the vast majority of Man United fans do not want Fellaini at the club. And he's sort of thinking, right, well, I'm going to win these fans back. I'm going to maybe try and prove them wrong. But you might do that with the flip-flop fans, but the fans that stay true to their sort of side, you're not going to win them back. It's just going to create more of a divide of this Jose in, Jose out. So it's a very dangerous game that he's playing.
Definitely. I'm in all sorts of trouble with this stream, folks. Sorry about this. I'm pretty much blind here. I'm going to have to go to my phone. I can't read the live comments unless I expand this, which is something I can do, but it's a bit of a pain. Fellaini is our best player. He deserves all the money, says George Kyle. Can anyone get him blocked, even though he's a moderator? So yeah, I mean, Friday night football. Well, it's a bit of a weird one in itself, isn't it? Brighton 37 points. I mean, we're talking about that front three. We're very excited about that. Fellaini issues aside, we know Darmian's a bit of a weak link. Maybe it'll be his last game. Ashley uncaptain, Rojo and Smalling, as we've mentioned. Brighton a team that we should be worried about? I mean, let's not forget we've lost at Newcastle, we've lost at Huddersfield. You never know with Mourinho the way he's setting things up. As I said before, if that was Martial, Rashford and Mata with Herrera, Pogba and Matic behind them and Valencia playing at fullback, they're going to get a lot more support and a lot better ball. They're almost, they're almost set up to fail in a way, because unless Pogba has a brilliant game, are they going to get the ball they need? As I've said before, Darmian's not going to bomb forward down that right hand side, so that sort of leaves Mata with a lot of work to do, and obviously Ashley Young, and I think Brighton will give him a bit of a good game. Yeah,
definitely. I think we're going to see a lot of hopefully a lot of joy down that left hand side. But their right back, I don't actually know Brighton's team, but if they've got that Charlotto at right back, he's actually had quite a good season. He has. And Brighton, to be fair, the two games we played them at Old Trafford, the FA Cup quarter-final and the league game at Old Trafford, they've given us a good game in both of those games. So I wouldn't say we need to be worried about Brighton, but we need to they're not going to roll over for us. And I was reading as well, if they win this game, they're guaranteed as safe. So they're going to be pumped up for it anyway. Man United are coming to town anyway, so regardless, they are going to be pumped up for it. So, I still think we've got the quality to beat them, but I mean, Glenn Murray, he can be a handful up front as well if he is starting. I'm not sure of the Brighton team, to be honest with you. So Yeah, we do need to take caution in this game, definitely, but I'm still expecting the quality to shine through, to be honest with you.
Good. I wish I might have to put my glasses on here because I can't bloody see anything. I'm having to work off such a small screen now. Mourinho doesn't know how to play attacking football. He can only play counter-attacking and very narrow with only the width coming from the full backs. And Chris Windle says he's confident of a win today. Mata won't stay on the right as usual. I mean, it's interesting about Alexis Sanchez. I'm going to have a quick look at Twitter there. I actually can't put the substitutions. Well, I can actually. I will get them up actually because I can do it off my phone. But no Alexis Sanchez. You would imagine, what do you think the reason might be that? A speculative guess, Andrew? Do you think he's being rested? I mean, we haven't got a game until next Thursday. Mourinho did say something we've been saying on this channel for a long time, that Sanchez was getting into Pogba's space. What do you think? What do you think is behind that with Mourinho? He was shocking against Arsenal, to be fair, against his former club as well.
Yeah, he was bad against Arsenal. And to be honest, the whole team, it was so frustrating sitting in the stands. You're wanting them to go forward, but we just, that stat that we've covered the least amount of ground in the league. Looking at that on Sunday, I'm not surprised. We were shocking. But back to the Sanchez thing. I can only think he may have picked up an injury, to be honest, because I can't see why. I could maybe understand if he was on the bench, but not to have travelled at all. It seems a bit strange to me, to be honest. And especially because Sanchez is that type of footballer, isn't he? He wants to play every game, and you can't knock him for that. But yeah, it is a strange one. I can only think he might have maybe a niggling injury that no one knows about.
Yeah, could do. A lot of people are. I'm just having a quick look on Twitter actually here and see what's going on. A few people not happy that Fellaini's starting. Surprise. Lots of talk about Luke Shaw as well. I mean, do you think Luke Shaw should have started today? I thought McTominay would definitely start, but Luke Shaw.
Yeah, I would have hoped that Luke Shaw would have started, but to be honest, I'll never forgive for it, the way he's treated Luke Shaw, but I'm resigned to the fact that he is going now. I still hold hope for Martial, but it's really disappointing the way he's treated Luke Shaw. I don't think he's been given a fair crack of the whip, but I am resigned to the fact that he is going now. I would have thought Mourinho might have played it a bit more clever and maybe sort of played him today to put him in the shop window. Whether he plans to do that against West Ham or Watford, I don't. He's obsessed with this second place, isn't he, Mourinho? He wants to get the second place sewn up. And then I think we may see the likes of Shaw play more in Darmian and maybe even Blind. He might integrate them in the final game against Watford. Because if he's after money for them, he'd be stupid not to, wouldn't he? Because they're just sitting there wasting away, really.
Yeah, definitely. I was just having a laugh at the Manchester United Twitter account there. I mean, I always worry about this sort of stuff. I think leave it to the fan channels and the big accounts the fans on Twitter and everything like that. They basically put up a gif of Martial celebrating and said Martial FC right now, which is from the official Manchester United fan account, which I just think is dangerous because you're getting political then, aren't you? You're sort of trying to attach yourself to little agendas. I mean, are you going to do a gif in 5 minutes of people reacting to Fellaini going like that? No, you're not, are you? So, but some people like that sort of thing. I just think it's a bit cringy, a bit the sort of thing that Man City does, to be honest. But
yeah, very,
very happy that he's starting, and hopefully, I think the Martial FC is a bit of a wrong way to look at it, but definitely looking forward to him playing. And if he's playing through the middle, interesting. Lingard on the bench as well. Obviously, that's interesting as well. Eric Bailly on the bench. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Eric Bailly, obviously, Mourinho saying that effectively not being picked because of the World Cup.
Very, very strange. I'll be honest with you, Mark. I don't support England. I don't support any international team. So the World Cup for me this summer is going to be good because I'm not going to be having heart palpitations because I won't be watching Man United. But I don't care about international teams. I care about Man United. So, and Mourinho should as well. So very, very bizarre comment that. I couldn't quite believe my ears when he said that because I think he said it earlier in the week as well. We need to build a strong centre-half partnership for next season. And Eric Bailly's fundamental to that if he can keep himself fit. So I was actually thinking he was injured along with Sergio Romero. But to hear that he's fine and he's not playing because he wants centre halves who are going to the World Cup to build up some form. It's a little bit worrying for me. Very, very, probably one of his most stranger comments of his time being our boss, actually, I think.
I just want to say I'm a bloody genius as well. My laptop's like played up. It's a black screen behind there, and I figured a way through the back end to get Chrome back up and running, which is great because I can now read the bloody comments. So I'm happy again. So the glasses can come off for a little bit until it crashes. But subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. We are closing in on 220,000 subscribers. Might be a little bit of a big ask tonight, but if everyone shares the video, subscribes if you're new in the bottom right hand corner. Friday Night Football, we could hit 220k, which would be absolutely fantastic. United doesn't come before anything. It's not like we're chasing a title now, is it? Says Sack12. I agree. I love Wales, not as much as Manchester United. Sion Williams. Play Martial as a striker, says Manish. And I don't like the... What kind of laptop do you use, says Alexander H. It's a very good one. It's a very good one, but I think it's coming towards the end of its life. Gets a lot of usage from me, not just on football stuff and everything like that. I like Jose playing emotionally and then including World Cup stars. No problem, says Ananthe. I did tweet something out today, Andy, and everybody else at home. I did picture... There's a at Mark Goldbridge, if you follow me on Twitter. I put it out last night and I retweeted it this afternoon. And it was a picture of Jose Mourinho smiling. And it must be about... I think it's right from the start because it's summer. So it must have been around August of his first August at United. So coming up for 2 years ago. And it really did make me think. He doesn't smile a lot. He doesn't smile a lot. And I don't want to be sensationalist and say that that is because he hates Manchester United. I just don't know whether he actually loves football anymore. I think he reminds me a bit of a Ronnie O'Sullivan in snooker, and I know that's very relevant at the moment. We've got the World Championships in Sheffield. Ronnie O'Sullivan's been knocked out. Clearly the best talent in snooker, but obviously has this struggle with knowing he's the best and he's got to play it while he's in his prime, but does he really love it anymore? And I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm totally wrong. I mean, what's your thoughts on Jose Mourinho? I mean, we've got a few minutes here. Is he? What do you get from him in his relationship with football and Manchester United? Because a lot of people have got different opinions on it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he has lost some of his passion for football, and to be honest, I think he's damaged goods from his time at Chelsea. He loved Chelsea so much, you could see it. And for the players to turn on him the way they did, all right, he was at fault as well for publicly criticising him. But he made them champions the earlier season, and then they sort of stabbed him in the back, and he lost the dressing room. And I'm not sure if he'll ever recover from that.
My dad's a Chelsea fan, and just to hop in, he did say that. He said, you know, when right at the start when we got Mourinho, we did say, look, Chelsea fans love Mourinho, and we weren't happy when he went, vast majority. But he said, I'm going to be very interested to see how he reacts at United, because he did love Chelsea, and he's never lost credibility like he did with us, with Chelsea. So it's like, you know, yeah, I think a lot of people sort of feel that as well.
It's because his father passed away as well, which is obviously tragic, and that would have affected him as well. But he was quite moody before that as well, so I'm not really sure that that's the reason. It might be part of the reason. Obviously, it's tragic, and but I don't know. He's an enigma, isn't he, Mourinho? To be honest, Matt, I've actually gone on to the side of Mourinho out now, especially after the Fellaini comments.
It's such a weird one, though. I mean, let's just pick up on that, because there will be some people in the live comments who do agree and don't agree. I mean, Paul Robinson just said Mourinho's never been in love with football; he's been in love with winning, which is an interesting comment. But I mean, look, I'm not Mourinho out, and people constantly say, "Why aren't you Mourinho out? You've been very negative for quite a while," and I'm very frustrated. And that was replicated. You know, everyone says, "Oh." There's a lot of people on Sunday night, oh, what are you moaning about? We beat Arsenal. And look, it was an Arsenal C team. But, you know, my opinion, people can take it or leave it. I don't really care. But when people are coming out of the ground negative after a last-minute winner against Arsenal, there's a lot of frustration there. But we are second in the league. We can get well into 80 points. And we could win an FA Cup as well. What is it? What is it? Is it those little sort of Fellaini things? What is it that's sort of making you feel like being Mourinho out?
To be honest, it's the Sevilla game, it really, really turned me. That was a shocking performance. But to be honest, it's a lot of things. It's the treatment of Martial and Shaw. I can understand some. I think Jared's one of them. He thinks that Shaw, he's sort of resigned to Shaw going as well, but he's not that bothered. I totally get that. But I remember Luke Shaw under Louis van Gaal just before he broke his leg, and he was fantastic. For what a left back we've got here, and he's never been able to replicate that form, which is a shame. Anthony Martial, the fans love him. He's a fantastic player. I think you mentioned it a few months ago as well. Some fans, they've got this emotional connection with Martial because of that debut goal against Liverpool. I was there, and that is the best game still I've ever been to. And that was 3 years ago. Unbelievable game. As well, when he tried to pull the wool over the fans' eyes with that football heritage press conference, that sent me into meltdown as well. And I don't know if this one's really relevant. It might be me just sort of nitpicking, but he's constantly praising Man City. And they've blown teams away this year. You can't deny that. They've been fantastic. But again, he came out, I think it was maybe yesterday or the day before, saying that, we need to consolidate second. And Man City, they've been fantastic. They haven't given teams an inch. But it's been 5 or 6 times he said that. So we get the message, Jose. But maybe that's me nitpicking on that one. And then the big one is trying to convince Marouane Fellaini to stay. I mean, you did that poll, didn't you? 70% of fans want him gone. It's not sort of 51-49, is it? That's a vast majority of fans, and I'm firmly in that 70%. I cannot see what he brings to this club. And
I think with Fellaini, I've been watching football for a long time, and I like to think that I'm quite educated on football. I'm not saying I'm more educated than any other fan, because a lot of fans are passionate like I am about it. But what I see with the Fellaini thing now is that he can never... I've been consistent for 4 years. I don't like him as a footballer. I'll never change. I'd be a hypocrite to change anyway. But what I see with Mourinho now is, I think Jose sometimes, and everybody does this, but I do think he thinks he can manipulate the fan base of any club, whether it's United, Inter, Real Madrid. But he's never been at a club like Manchester United. We are steeped in history, and many of our fans are fully aware of that history and passionate about it. And I think what he's doing here is a bit like a media strategy. It's a PR exercise. How Fellaini has started tonight after what he said 2 days ago is absolutely beyond me. But it's a bit like yesterday's chip paper, isn't it? Let's try and forget that by getting you in this game tonight. You play out your skin, and you'll start to get more people back in your camp. And I'm going to play you against West Ham, and you play well, you'll do more. And then if you play in the FA Cup final and you score, you'll do more. And then next season, you've signed your new contracts and you're here. And we'll keep playing you, and we'll gradually keep winning you back and back and back. And I think that will work to a certain extent. I even saw it after the Arsenal game. There were some people saying, "Oh, leave him alone, he scored a goal, this, that and the other." But it's not going to work with me, and it's not going to work with everybody, with a lot of fans. But I think Jose thinks... Remember, he said this back in his first August. I'm going to make Manchester United fans love Fellaini. He said that. 2 years down the line, he still hasn't done it. Hello?
Yeah, hi. I didn't realise he said that.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I don't know whether anyone in the live comments can remember that. He said that. He said, I'm going to make Manchester United fans love Fellaini. And that was his very first month at the club in the August. And 2 years down the line, I don't think he has. Because I don't think he understands, and I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm not saying this to be Mourinho out. It's what I said in the international break. His style of football, his negativity... and the players that he's picking, he needs to understand what this club is about. And I'm sure Sir Alex has took him aside a few times, because Sir Alex was a genius at saying, if you haven't got the fans, you're nothing at United, and you've got to please the fans, you've got to entertain the fans. Sir Alex Ferguson, PR, yes, maybe he was being manipulative, but he knew how to get the fans on side. Mourinho's approach is very much, I'll get the fans on side by proving them wrong. But some people don't want to. It doesn't matter if you prove yourself right. If you're being stubborn, some people won't come round to that. And I just think that the big issue with Fellaini is the style of play. He's a magnet to the long ball. That's what he is. But Mourinho, I think now, is just going to keep picking him to try and prove people wrong. But the fear is amongst me is that the more he picks him, the further we get away from being a title-winning side. Because I don't think a team with Fellaini in it can win a title. I'd love to be proved wrong, but I don't think they can.
100%. And like you said as well, it creates another maybe potential issue. If Fellaini was to go in the summer, which obviously I hope he does, we would more than likely be signing 2 midfielders. But now it looks like we're only going to sign 1, and that's not enough for me. Because what if he gets injured? We're back to square one. If the new midfielder, the new potential midfielder, if they were to get injured, back to square one. So yeah, he will never ever convince me of Marouane Fellaini. Never. I don't. Fellaini could score in the FA Cup final. Win is it? I don't care. One game for me, it just does not make a player.
Well, Andy, thanks for joining us for the first half hour, mate. And obviously we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on, Matt. Cheers.
Cheers, Andy. Right, we'll go to the live comments then and take some of your points. We've had our little bit of a chat there, but let's do you, so to speak. I seem to have just moved over these laptop issues we've got at the moment. We've got 2,750 watching, so please share the video, like the video, 1,000 likes before kickoff, and Martial will score a hat-trick. That's what I believe anyway. Would have preferred Blind at left-back and Young at right-back, having some natural crosses. Very, very, very good point by True Story, and it is a true story, so well done on that. Daily Blind, not even on the bench. I said that the other day as well about Blind. He's a better left-back than Ashley Young anyway. I don't know why he's been treated like that. Abdi says, what's the lineup? Well, it's going along the bottom of the screen, mate, but happy to read it out for you. De Gea in goal, Darmian right back, Smalling and Rojo this time. Again, we're changing centre-backs. When was the last time we picked 2 centre-backs the same in a row? Ridiculous, isn't it? Ashley Young is captain and he's left back. Matic, Pogba, Fellaini, midfield 3. And Martial, Rashford and Mata, front 3. Which I'm very, very happy with. I'm just concerned, are we going to get decent ball to the front 3 with Darmian and Fellaini in the team? That's a little bit of a concern. But do carry on for a moment, because I'm just going to shout at you for a minute, because I've just realised I made a big, big mistake again. I do like to have my subtitles on, because when they speak to Jose, I want to see what he's saying. Okay. Back in the room. Try not to trip over the wires. Okay, we're back. Eric Bay's on the bench. Jose out would be a best transfer, says Ali, but everywhere you go, you've got to take De Gea with you, says Wesley. And Fellaini is okay if you need to play long ball with 10 minutes to go, but that's it. Should never start, not good enough, can't pass, can't run. And Arsenal need a new manager. They can have Jose offers. I couldn't care less, as Matt Hodges. I must admit, I do find it quite... what's the word? I find it quite odd, the situation that we have with Jose Mourinho, because it's our best season since Sir Alex Ferguson left. But it's also... There's so much conflict within the fan base. And as we all know, next season is going to be what it's all about anyway. But let's just go back to that. Karen Bansai says, how should Mourinho keep all our forwards happy? Thanks for the contribution. Remember, if you want to make a contribution, do leave us a comment so we can read it out for you. You can do that through the $ at the bottom of the live comments. Martial is on the left, says Faizan. We don't know. And I just hope it's going to be a good game. I think Brighton... They've only got 2 games after this. They should be safe. Having said that, not necessarily certain to be safe. Be quite good if we beat Brighton tonight, because they've got Liverpool last game of the season. It'd be funny if they beat them. Jose isn't even fit to manage Grimsby, says Biosphere. So the hate continues. Look, and I do find it quite odd. But he's going to have to do something next season around the league title. And that's what I was going to say, actually. We did start the season with Fellaini in the midfield as well, and we did win those games, but they were against teams, down towards the bottom of the league. I just don't think. I think the thing that frustrates me is that you look at Liverpool, you look at Spurs, you look at Manchester City. you look at the way that the world football's going at the moment, and I think the World Cup's going to be very entertaining because of this. It's all about attacking football. It's all about pressing football. And if we are to win the title next season, we're almost going to be anti-football to do it. And that Manchester United anti-football, it's like Arsenal George Graham years, and a lot of you won't be old enough to remember this, but you've got City and Liverpool, our big rivals. You know, I've got to hold my hands up playing this fantastic brand of football that everybody likes. And then you've got United, you know, pressing football, attacking football, fast football. And then you've got United, who we know are slow at building up the play, who we know are bottom of the league for pressing and well, not pressing, but distance covered, which is effectively pressing. So we're a lazy, slow team. If we're going to win the league next season, either we're going to have to change the whole way we play and the whole mentality of Mourinho, or we're going to win the league by grinding out results, anti-football to everybody else, which I think that maybe somewhere amongst there is why people do get frustrated. I don't know. Hi all, says Quasim Vlogs. 1-0 to the Arsenal, says Mark Crisp. What were we post Ronaldo? Fast attacking press? No, Adam. Well, look, I'm not having people come in and have a go at Sir Alex Ferguson. Do you not remember that season when Rooney was on fire and he injured his ankle against Bayern Munich and it messed our season up in the Champions League? We've played very, very good attacking, risk-taking football under Sir Alex Ferguson We may not have been as good as we were when we had Ronaldo, because Ronaldo was simply at United what he is now at Real Madrid, an absolute colossus. But Sir Alex Ferguson never said, I want my team to be lazy, bottom of the league. I want my team to move the ball slowly. You know, we might not have had great players, but Sir Alex Ferguson always wanted us to take risks, always wanted us to use the width. There is no comparison, if you're trying to be clever there, between Sir Alex Ferguson's style of football and Jose Mourinho's. They're worlds apart. One's in Australia, one's in Mexico. Well, you know, they're a long way apart, is the point. And I tell you what, Sir Alex Ferguson wouldn't even have Marouane Fellaini in the car park sweeping it. He wouldn't have him. He wouldn't pay him in buttons. Apart from Darmian and Fellaini, absolutely love that lineup, says Lanky Snake 952. Yes, well, the front three is very exciting. I did say this afternoon. You know, we're all talking about Rashford and Martial, but I feel for Juan Mata. Juan Mata seems to be that. You remember after the West Brom game at home when we lost, and Mourinho came out and said there's players there that won't be playing in the FA Cup game. They've really let themselves down, and the only player who didn't play was Mata. You know, Sanchez came back, Lingard came back. They were as bad as Mata, and Mata's not had a kick since then. So Mata was the fall guy from that West Brom game. But I think what Jose saw on Sunday is he saw a very similar performance to the West Brom game. But obviously it was the same players, but no Mata. So I think he's brought Mata in tonight because it's not Mata's fault, is it? It's not Mata's fault. Mata needs to play. But I'm just looking at Jose Mourinho there. It's a nice evening down in Brighton. Moody face. Moody face. Moody face. Always moody face Mourinho. And I think this is the problem. I don't believe he's happy. I think, if you know, smile and the world smiles with you. And this makes me sad because I'm a Mourinho in person. This is what makes me sad about Jose, is that he just doesn't look happy. And I don't know whether any club would make him happy. I don't know whether I don't think it's necessarily a Manchester United thing. I just don't think he's happy in football in general. I mean, he's striding around there, and you've got Gary Neville talking with Steve Sidwell in the centre circle, and Mourinho's about 10 yards away from him. Gary Neville looks like he's crapping himself because they've had a bit of come to, haven't they? Imagine if Jose came over and gave him some. But Jose doesn't like Mata, says Andrew Ellis. Well, I think he's disproved that, to be fair. I think he has disproved that. Nice front three. Darmian and Fellaini, not so sure, says Soccer as we like it. Get in the live comments. Let us know where you're watching from. One of my favourite parts of the show. Let us know where you're watching from, what time it is. Friday night, 8 PM UK time for us. Weird Friday night football. I prefer Friday night at 8. Well, no, I don't. I do like a Friday night drink, to be honest, but I do prefer. I don't like Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Can you compare the early years of Sir Alex Ferguson to the current years of Jose? Says Uzmazat. Look, what I'd say about that is, the early years of Sir Alex Ferguson, I was in single figures and mid-single figures. So, would you rather be a glorified Stoke or Bottlers FC? Says Lil TV HD. Success is success, isn't it? You know. I don't know whether that's the answer you want. But look, Sir Alex Ferguson's years to Jose Mourinho's years to David Moyes' first years to Van Gaal's first years, it doesn't matter. What Sir Alex Ferguson was doing was totally different. United hadn't won the title for 3 decades. It wasn't the Premier League. Liverpool were absolutely dominant and had a system that worked. United liked to spend money but didn't have a system that worked. And Sir Alex Ferguson had to rebuild that club from nothing to a youth setup that works. Matt did a fantastic job, and it took him a few years to sort it because this was a problem that had been going on for 3 decades. Mourinho's taken over a club that's got a lot of deadwood in it. Of course it has, but he's had a lot of money. And let's not forget, in the days that Sir Alex Ferguson took over, it was pretty much unheard of to be bringing in the best foreign players in the world. You get a few, but a lot of it would have to be British talent. You couldn't go and get, at that time you had like Vialli, Mancini, Hullet, Van Basten. They weren't coming to the Premier League, so it was a different transfer market as well. Mr. Exclusive says, who has the win ratio like Jose in a competitive league like the Premier League? Jose is negative with positive outcomes, from 7th with the DM to 2nd with JM. Fair point. And Crime says, agree with you, Mark. Hope we get key players for next season. I believe we are going through a very important transition in our club history since Sir Alex Ferguson, says Crime. Thanks for the contributions. Remember, you can do that through the Super Chat option by using the $sign. I must just say, I hate the word transition. I don't believe in the word transition when you're 2 years in and you've spent as much money as Jose has. I don't like transition, and I don't use it as an excuse because teams can do things in 1 year. Ranieri won a title in 1 year. Liverpool haven't spent the money we've had. They're in a Champions League final. So transition's a bit of a lazy excuse. What I would say is progress. We've got definite progress with Jose Mourinho. That is unquestionable. We've had some negative things this season, but we've definitely got progress, and I wouldn't deny that at all. So let's go back to the live comments. I realised that through all my talking there, I pretty much missed where everybody was watching from. So if you want to do it again, you can do. But Jaden Grant says he's in Atlanta, Georgia, 2:40 p.m. Jaden, you might be able to answer me a question here. I'm a massive fan of The Karate Kid, and I started watching Cobra Kai last night. First two episodes are free on YouTube. We're not plugging it. I just really liked The Karate Kid, and I think it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Cobra Kai. I think they filmed some of it in Atlanta. We've got Chris is in Cyprus, and Kevin says the bad thing about Fellaini signing a new contract is probably with the end of Herrera as well, which nobody's spoken about. Good point. Prince Fresh is in Kenya, and Macedonia for Mladen Georgiev. Ireland, India, US, 2 p.m. Birmingham, Alabama, says Nicole Richards. Philippines, and it's 3 a.m, says Patrick. Hey, it's worth being up early hours of the morning to watch Martial play up front. Just ignore that one with the big hair. Martial to score, says Josh James, and it's 12:10 a.m, says Shivan Singh in India. And we've got Three Legs Wrestling, Isle of Man. Israel, it's 10 o'clock kickoff. Nepal, it's 12:25 a.m, says Anish. We've got Bulgaria in the house with Gershant. And we've got Brixham Devon for Nick Jervis. We've got Sal Lingard for Tree Harold. I like the sound of that place. Jamaica for Lawrence Murray. And Don Roberto is in the US of A. So thanks everybody who's been letting us know what's going on. And there was a comment there that I wanted to go to, and I've missed it. Would you rather sign Dybala, Ronaldo and Griezmann, or keep Darmian and Fellaini and win the league? Lemons are real. Well, I don't know where people think of these scenario things, because we're never going to know the outcome of it, but I do think it's important for Manchester United to win a league title, and I have said that, and I'd be an absolute liar to change my stance on that. And one thing I am is Mourinho's stubborn, and I'm quite stubborn as well, and I'll never change my opinion on Fellaini, and I'll never change my opinion on why I was happy about getting Jose Mourinho, because I felt that, what are we now? We're coming up for 5 years since we won a title. It's going to be 6 even if we win it next year. So the reason I wanted Jose Mourinho as manager is because he wins titles. He's won a title every club he's been at, and that was why I was happy about getting Jose Mourinho, because he guaranteed a title. So that's why I want him to have year 3, because no matter, even if Mourinho out us, even if Mourinho left this summer and a new manager came in and win the title, well, Mourinho could win it next year. I know it could be, and I think in a sentence I've just explained to people why I'm Mourinho in. It's not logical. It's not. I can't stand what he does with Fellaini. I can't stand that Darmian's playing. I can't stand some of the things that he does. But I back him because I do believe, and history shows it, that he's won a title everywhere. And United, and I'm a United fan, need to win a title because we're getting closer to 10 years without a title now than we were 5. So it's like, well, not 5 obviously, but you know what I mean. We've gone past 0 to 5. We're now going 5 to 10. So I believe Mourinho can win as a title, and that's pretty much it. Biosphere says bad football may be progress for somebody, but not me. It's a personal opinion, mate. And Anish, we've read that. We want success, but we give the manager trash for doing it his way. Fergie did it his way, and we are happy that it was a success. Now we need to accept his manager approach and give him support. Dwayne, I respect that opinion, but the problem is the Sir Alex Ferguson way was risk, was attack. The Jose Mourinho way is negative, and that is the problem. Fans won't just trust his way, will they? Because of that. Jacob Hexamer says Thomas Partey was very good against Arsenal yesterday, and most times I've seen him outside shout for the summer. And Mr. Whittleham Chambers says 2:45 PM in New York, and watching Manchester United at work, hoping Martial impresses today and stays. Jose's speaking at the moment. He says Alexis Sanchez and Lukaku injured, but we think these players deserve a chance to play anyway. Many of them are fresher than others that have played so many matches this season. So they'd be talking about Martial and Mata and Rashford there. To play against a team that are strong at home is intense, and we think it is probably the best team. So there we go. I'm Josie in, but he just frustrates me, says Danny Martial. Danny Marshall, not Martial. Danny Marshall. Yes, I would agree with that, Danny. Look, I've said this so many times, and people don't get it. You know, we're not Siths. We don't deal in absolutes. We're Jedis. We deal in grey areas as well. And you know, there's a long way between in and out, and there's a long way between good and bad. You know, there's partly good, there's partly bad, and people seem to think if you say one, you know, I don't agree with him signing Fellaini means you must be Mourinho out. Well, that's one little policy in hundreds of policies that you might agree with. So I've said this so many times about Mourinho, and you know, my boss and my best friends and my family and stuff, is that, you know, I support them and I always will do, but it doesn't necessarily mean I agree with every single decision they make. It doesn't mean we don't have disagreements, and I think that's what I would say about Jose. I support him as our Manchester United manager, but there are some things recently that I've really disagreed with. Mr. Exclusive says, to anyone, how many times did Sir Alex beat Jose? I think Mourinho had quite a good record against him, to be fair. At least Valencia is not our captain because Young can actually speak English, says Alex. Boycotting United games next season if Fellaini stays and Martial leaves, says Abjit. And Mourinho took me from strong in to weak out because he doesn't seem to understand the game is changing, says Christopher Morton. Again, that's going back to the sort of style of play, isn't it? What else have we got? I need to just whack a tweet out here. Paul Allen Bonner says there is no Manchester United way. There was Sir Alex Ferguson way, and now there's Jose way. I hate reading comments that I have to say I totally and utterly disagree with you, because it's your opinion and you have every right to believe that. But I have to say it's a little bit disrespectful to people like me, because there is a Manchester United way, and it goes way back beyond Sir Alex Ferguson. It goes back to those Busby babes who died tragically in that crash. It was that youth team that Sir Matt Busby had built up years before, that exciting attacking football with youth and passion and energy, and that sort of followed through, and United have been trying to replicate that ever since. And Sir Alex Ferguson brought it back with the class of '92, but United have always been a team that likes to attack up until the last 5 years with Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho. And obviously the longer we stick with managers like that, the more distant memory that United way becomes. But it's not so Manchester United has a way, and that's why fans are passionate about it, because it's not just about Sir Alex Ferguson, it's about what the club stands for and its resurrection as well. United Like Manchester has made a contribution, thanks for that. And 1,000 likes by match time, says Chad. Yeah, please do drop a like on the video. We're on 603 at the moment. Let's get to 1,000 before kickoff. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you are new. We've got an outside chance of getting 220,000 subscribers tonight. So please click the share button and share it on your Twitter and your Facebook. Get as many people watching as possible. New people on the United stand. Big summer ahead. Sanchez is injured, says Fortune YouTube. Yeah, we just said that a few minutes ago for anybody who's joined us a little bit late. Manchester United is so political these days, says Chronic Tie Second. And have you sent the stat from Sky Sports regarding Martial and Rashford's game time since the arrival of Alexis Sanchez? The percentage has dropped so much, says Kingdom FX. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. Martial and Rashford have been absolutely sacked. I mean, look, I don't want to talk about Fellaini anymore. Everyone knows what I think about that. But if you want me to talk about something else that Mourinho's frustrated me about, probably more than Fellaini, was the Sanchez signing and what he did with Rashford and Martial. Because I think Martial was having a very, very, very good season. Rashford was having a bit of a mixed season but needed game time. You sign Sanchez and you're right, their game time absolutely plummeted. And I don't think Sanchez has been a great return yet. I do agree with Jose that I think Sanchez next season, when he's had a pre-season, when he's fully used to the club, will be great. And Sanchez has said that himself. But what we basically did is we bought Sanchez. We played him because we bought him. He's not been that good. And we messed around with two players who are good. Fergie's only 73 years. Why can't he come back? Says QF. Thanks for the contribution. Or OF. Yeah. Only 73, says Mr. Exclusive. I don't think Joe... maybe there's part of Sir Alex Ferguson that goes to sleep at night and thinks, look, I'd love Manchester United to be winning titles, of course I would, but the fact that the club's sort of disintegrated after I've gone only enhances my reputation about how good I was. He didn't need it enhancing anyway. He's the best sports manager ever. And I remember Sir Alan Hansen saying at one point that basically there was a point in the Premier League where you could put Sir Alex Ferguson in charge of any of the top six and he'd win the title with him. He was that good. And he was that good. But he knew our club absolutely like the back of his hand, and he knew what the expectations were, and he knew what was going on. And it was always going to be hard when he went. I think that the board's messed it up a little bit with some of its appointments. I don't deep down hate Jose. I don't even hate Fellaini. I don't hate anybody. I don't live my life dictated to by hate, and I would suggest that none of you none of you should either. I mean, hate is just to coin the Star Wars phrase, and hate leads to the dark side, and hate's not a good thing. Dislike is fine when it's based on your passion and evidence which your life is dictated around. And my footballing life is, I don't like the long ball. I hated Wimbledon growing up. Again, a lot of you won't be old enough to remember, but I hated Wimbledon. My dislike for Fellaini as a footballer is not based on his hair or the fact that he's clumsy or anything like that. It's 100% based on, I hate long ball. I hate it. Wimbledon, growing up with a long ball physical team. The only time I liked Wimbledon was when they beat Liverpool in the FA Cup final in '88. I do not like long ball. I haven't liked Stoke. And Fellaini is a long ball specialist. And to think that Manchester United have a player like that, that's why I get passionate about it, because I can't stand it. But I don't hate Marouane Fellaini. He might hate me because I've been on about him for 4 years, but I don't hate him. Bring Ryan Giggs for manager, says Grobar. In hindsight, I never really wanted the class of '92 because I think it was too much of a risk, but I would have definitely took Giggs. I would have took the class of '92 instead of Moyes. I would have took the class of '92 instead of Van Gaal, because you know what you're getting with them. They know what the club's about. They know what the fans are all about. And yes, they might fail, but they try and do it the right way. Anyone over 26 knows Mark, says Bad Drab 124H. That's one thing I've never asked, actually. If anybody just very, very quickly as a sort of demograph thing, if anyone just wants to just type their age, you don't have to put your exact age, but you could put mid-30s or 30s, 40s, 20s, teens. Just let us know, because I'd like to know what the demograph is, because it's I always say a lot of you can't remember, but maybe some of you can. Mr. Exclusive, Fellaini is a great player if he played for Oldham. Yeah, Ian Marshall, Andy Ritchie, yes, I remember them. What do you think of Gerrard's appointment as Baller 21 2001? I like Scottish football. I think it's a bit odd. They've got Liverpool connections there now, but interested to see what he can do. If he does well at Rangers, he'll end up at Liverpool, won't he? So it's them who it's going to get. Okay, so we've got people typing in their ages. So we've got a lot of teenagers: 23, 17, 14, 18, 27. 14, 20, yeah, okay, 46, 14, 20s, 40s, 29, yeah. Quite a range, good. Yeah. We've got an immortal here in Maud. I liked this question from Dean Talbot. He says, will Mourinho's attitude maybe affect the players in the long run, especially going into next season, being unhappy and sulking? Well, I've said that a few times. Remember on the US tour, Mourinho was on about how happy the team were, and they looked happy. And then some point during this season, there's been a little bit of falling out, hasn't there? So it is interesting, yeah. No attacking options at all on the bench, says Harry Phelan. Yeah, you're right. Apart from Lingard. And I am the void, I have no age, says the darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. What do you think of Gerrard? Yeah, I've done that one. Sorry, Mark Crisp, I've spoken about Gerrard. Everything was good until the derby, says Aaron R. Yes, I agree. The derby was the game where it went wrong. We started off well, didn't we, as 4-0 FC. Then we went into 5 minutes away from kickoff here. We went into the derby and we went negative. We had a really good November as well, and then we went negative. It was a bit odd. So, but I do agree with that. That was the problem. Five minutes to kick off, everybody. 5 minutes to kick off. Who is playing as striker? Says Manny Danuga. I don't know. We actually don't know who's playing as striker. We won't know till the game starts. A lot of people think it might be Martial. Could be Rashford. I personally hope it will be Rashford, because Martial playing up front, doesn't matter how well he does, he will not be playing up front when Lukaku is fit. So I hope that it is Rashford up front and Martial on the left. Because actually I still think Martial at 22, I think Thierry Henry had only just signed for Arsenal at his age, and he didn't go straight up front. So Martial's still got time to be to go up front. I think at the moment he's our best left winger, so I want him to play on the wing. JH says, why is Lindelof on the bench? Exactly. I'm going to take a few notes because I'll need them for my match reaction. But Lindelof needed to play, you're right. And McTominay. And Shaw. But for me, for all the potential negatives tonight, it's got to be the positives about Anthony Martial. We know he's going to get at least 45 minutes. Probably longer because there's not a lot of options on the bench. No Lukaku, no Sanchez. So hopefully either Rashford, Mata or Martial, they should be getting 90 minutes, one of them, at least. At least. Oh, what's it called? Let's see if this works. Oh, I can't get it. Sorry for the silence. I'm trying to find something here because for anyone who's been with us for a while, we've got a few issues with the laptop and I'm having to go through the back system to start programs up. Now my timer program, I can't find the bloody thing to start it up. So we may well be timerless, which is not good. Not good at all, I tell you. I can't remember. Why? I bet it's not called that, that's why. Okay, well. Oh, I've got all sorts of problems here. Anyway, game's about to kick off. Let's stick with that for the moment. Oh. Suddenly everything's working again now. The game has kicked off. I'll get you going in a minute. Martial's playing on the left, which is a big start. Good start for me straight away. And here is Martial. 3 players on him straight away. And he's lost it. Right, I'm going to get this timer up. Suddenly everything started to work. So I think I know what's causing the problem, which is great. It's always good when you can figure out a problem, but it's not good figuring out problems when you're live. So, Rashford up front. There we go. Get me timer up on the pitch for you, my lovelies. There we go. Timer's up. See, never a problem. And he says never a problem. Fellaini on the ball. And Martial's getting quite a bit of the ball, which is good. Jared, if you're watching, I'm trying to get Skype up and running as well. Rashford, nutmegs. Oh, he should be given a free kick there, and he has done, right on the edge of the box for Manchester United, which is good. There we go. Good start for United. Free kick. Here we go. Good skill from Rashford, says Kimani. Mark, do you think Memphis would make a difference? Says Ibrahim Fazal. And can see this going in. Rashford's going to hit this, so let's just stay with this for a minute. Jared, I'll let you know it's playing up again, but just I don't want to miss this free kick here. Hopefully it should start working, but it doesn't seem to be appearing on my taskbar, which seems to be playing up again. So I'll be back. It's in! And it's Fellaini who scored it! Offside. He got in front. Fellaini scores, but it's offside. And it was offside. It was offside. Little eager Fellaini there, getting across the player, but it's almost a goal, as everybody said, but no, not given. Good free kick that by Rashford. Instead of shooting over, whacked it into the danger zone, which Fellaini got on the end of. He's effective in the box, you know, I'm not going to deny that. He's effective in the box. But the game started off quite well. And the thing I like about this is that if we were playing, and hopefully it's going to be like it against West Ham on Thursday as well, is that these teams have got things to play for. I mean, the last game of the season against Watford, they're safe, and we can play the kids at Old Trafford the week before the FA Cup. But the next 2 games for United should be quite good because they've both got something to play for. Brighton are not safe yet, and hopefully West Ham won't be safe next Thursday. And it means it's a tougher workout for United, and we're trying to pass out from the back here, De Gea, which is weird. I don't know why he tried to pass out the back from there when you have got Fellaini in the team. Rashford's first touch there is atrocious, and we've lost the ball. Danny Smith says, I can't stand him, not as a person, as a player. He has ruined the club and what it stands for. I know it's not just his fault. I don't know who he's talking about. I wonder who he's talking about. Fellaini did score, but it was offside. I mean, it hit his knee and went in, to be honest, but he made a good run. Well, he didn't. He made a terrible run because he was offside. Right, Jared, it should be working now. It should be working now. He says. Fingers crossed. I think McTominay should have played today as well, Danish. I agree with you. I don't understand quite why McTominay hasn't played today. I mean, wins Manager's Player of the Year, which I think was probably a little bit political. But got Jared joining me now from, well, I presume you're in New York, Jared. You never know.
Correct. What's up?
How
we doing?
I'm all right. Time isn't there?
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock on a Friday? Not
Yes.
at work?
Of course I'm working.
There's an overlap here. Guess where it is? It's down the right-hand side because Ashley Young's having a nosebleed up front again. And a good recovery tackle by Rojo. Never learn, do we, with Ashley Young? He's always too far forward. Pogba's lost his man here as well. Brighton. Oh, and Ashley Young. God, it's a bit... Talk about Wimbledon. It's a bit like that at the moment. Who's the bold guy for Brighton? I always quite like him. I think he's their right back.
I don't know.
Just shoots just wide. Anyway, Brighton are up for it. They will be energetic. It is their ground, and I see that as a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, a victory for them guarantees safety, so they're up for it. Even a draw really guarantees safety. Hoping De Gea keeps a clean sheet. I think that guarantees him the Golden Glove.
He needs to win that. Did he win it last year, or does he always get robbed at the end by stupidity from centre-backs?
Robbed at the end every year.
Well, Rayo's had a good start, and it does seem to be a quicker pace to the game.
Yeah, Fellaini's not screwing things up too badly yet.
I mean, that's another thing about Fellaini as well. Is if we're going to play him in the opposition's penalty box. Playing him in midfield, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. You know what? I've started to change my opinion on it to some degree. Because
You have to, because he's going to stay. You're going to give yourself,
Agita.
Somebody said to me at the start of the week, you're going to have to change because otherwise you're going to kill yourself.
Well, you know what? There's a reasonable level of change. So if Mourinho has one more year before we can judge him, then Fellaini could be here for one more year with Mourinho if this is the way he wants to play. But
which he will be, yeah.
Right. But the difference is if we don't give him what he wants, he's going to complain about it all year.
Yeah. I actually said that in the week as well, to be fair. I'm not hypocritical there. Obviously, the last thing I want is for Marouane Fellaini to stay at Manchester United. But if it's what Mourinho wants, then I don't want Fellaini to leave because he wants to leave and Mourinho wants him to stay. If I want Fellaini to leave because Mourinho realises he's not the right player for United. That's not the case. Mourinho has countless times and said yesterday, I want him to stay. So, in a perverse way, I want him to stay because I don't want Mourinho to have excuses next season. Oh, I didn't have Fellaini. So,
yeah. Well, he'll figure him out, but let's not give him one for free.
There's a cat.
It's a cat. Shut up. He sneaks to eat.
He's probably just seen Fellaini's playing, and it's like seeing a ghost. Well, Brighton have started off brightly. I've been wanting to say that all night. Thanks to Brighton for the assist.
Good. Sorry about that. Oh, nice defense. Why can't we press? That's a reasonable question. Nice play. I do like seeing Rashford up front. Like we've seen Lukaku so long, it's missed.
I mean, I've just tweeted it out there because we had a break in the play, and every team exploits our left back, Ashley Young. I can't wait for us to have a proper left back.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to sign Sandro. I'm excited about that. I think he'll be a massive development.
Well, they're all over us at the moment, Brighton. Just for anybody who's not watching it, Brighton are all over us at the moment, cutting through our midfield. Pogba's lost his man once. Matic has lost his man. Fellaini got 1-2'd. It's a bit of a slow start from. But this is the trouble with the midfield, isn't it? If you don't play Herrera, Matic and Pogba, it becomes whatever your combination is, it's going to be slightly slow. And Mr. Exclusive says, I bet Fellaini takes 2 Viagra to get that extra added inch before he starts the game. The tree, can we not just order a tree surgeon who makes kindling? Thanks for the contribution, mate. Always like a bit of banter. Our midfield's getting overrun, says Hayden. Yeah, that's fair, Jared, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Fellaini divides the fan base so much. It's not going to ever change. There'll always be many want him out. When he has a good game, some people will yell at the ones that want him out. Fellaini's the Arsenal fan TV of United.
Yeah, and I hate that. I don't like that.
Divisiveness.
Yeah, but
not good.
You can't help being passionate about things that you don't agree with, and the whole point is most of us are Manchester United fans of many years, and we're very passionate about it. And because we're passionate about it, when something you don't like happens, you're going to be passionate about it. And some people will say that's you're being negative, but you can't help. This matters. Manchester United matters more to me, you, and everybody else than it does to Mourinho. Mourinho's not a Manchester United fan. He's just a Manchester United manager who wants to win, but is paid to win. Same as Van Gaal.
Oh God, Darmian he is so bad. Darmian is just the worst. You know what? There's definitely time. We have a lot of people we need to still get rid of. I think we forget that. Again, Mourinho's going to be here next year. He needs to have the people that, as long as he doesn't sell Martial, I don't care if we keep Fellaini for another year. I would not be okay if we kept him longer than that, though.
Well, the first 10 minutes, and of course it can change very, very quickly, but the first 10 minutes are exactly the thing I sort of feared when I saw that team news. Is, yeah, we've got a brilliant front three, but are they going to get the ball from the midfield three who look slow and static? Unless Pogba turns up, Fellaini's lost his man here, and it's a shot at De Gea. Kingdom FX says we're getting battered. Herrera should have started every day of the week.
Yeah, you know what, though? I mean, the real question is then you sit there and you're like, do you want a mistake made by Fellaini? It's like that's when you start thinking. And then you just get – there's no winning in this equation. Ever. Ever. He's going to be here, too. He's just such a divisive, unfortunate character at the club. Which is the exact opposite of people like Martial, where people just want to see more of him, to see him develop into a superstar.
I mean, this is the interesting thing. I mean, there's a lot of people in the live comments saying it's poor. Welcome to Drawty, says George. I haven't seen these comments yet, but welcome to Drawty. This is the problem. This is the problem with Manchester United. It's the lack of a press and the lack of speed in our play. And we're at Brighton again, and like we're at Huddersfield, like we're at Newcastle. It's teams that we know Liverpool and Man City would come here and batter them because they have battered them, and yet we're struggling against them, not imposing ourselves on them. And it's not the fact that, of course you can lose a game like this, but it's the fact that our style of the play is so negative and boring and conservative that it starts to really grate. I mean, look at us. We've just had a throw in their half, and we're now back in our half because we've thrown it backwards and passed it sideways.
But at least we're in second place, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's always the comeback, isn't it? And it's quite right.
Yeah, it's wearing thin, to be honest.
I don't think we can come second next season playing like this. But then again, I wouldn't have thought you could come second this season playing like this.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's not been all season either. We started off very, very well, and we were very good in November. I think the second half of the season we've ground it out. But we did last season as well. We were poor from January last season. Most Mourinho teams from January do, because he's very clinical in winning and getting over the line, most of his teams in the second half of the season do become quite conservative and grind results out. You tend to see the best from Mourinho teams in the first 4 months of the season. Then after Christmas, it's grind it out time.
It's also funny, by the way, how good Mourinho teams perform when he leaves a club. I was looking into that. It's a very interesting stat.
What, they get better when he goes?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I've never really
to be fair, it's one season they do extremely well. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's like they've been drilled by Mourinho, and then a coach that unleashes them does the next step after that.
Martial, he's going to have to give it to Fellaini, I know. To Darmian, even better. And it's back to Matic. See, this is the thing about United, though. That was United in an absolute sentence, because we were on the attack. We had them stretched. You think about Liverpool, Man City, it'll be 2 passes and they'll get a shot away. United end up back on the halfway line, and Brighton have got everybody back, and the attack breaks down. And that's the problem. We're not fast enough on the attack, and we always give the opposition an opportunity to get back into position, where the better teams in the league, the better footballing teams, will just kill. They'll go for the kill.
Right, and I mean, you look at the way we walk around the pitch, it just, I don't know, they just don't look like they're all in it. I've never seen a game this season, maybe except for the last half of the Palace game and then the end of the City game, where the whole team just looks like they want it. There's always someone walking or someone not in the game or showing no emotion. And
well, we are the laziest team in the league. It's fact. Yeah. We are lazy. We're bottom of the league for distance covered, which is appalling. But I say we're bottom. We were in January. I don't think it will have changed. A good comment there from Paul Roscoe 11. He says, we get to the opposition's area, then we stop, repeat, yawn. And look, I've done a little bit of coaching. I've played a lot of football. I've watched even more football, like many of you lot. And this isn't, I always say about football, I've played at a decent level. I've done a little bit of coaching. I've watched loads of it. It's not rocket science. Football's not rocket science. People like Wenger, Mourinho, Pep, they want you to believe the hype about, you've got to have a degree of this, that and the other. It's not. It's very, very, very simple. Sam Allardyce is a football manager and he's effective, but he plays a very negative, direct way of football. But he's no genius. He's a big motivator who plays a certain brand of football. But this for me is about coaching. This is all about coaching. It's like when we're on the attack, tell the players to be more direct. Yes, you might. Yeah, the attack might break down because you might misplay a pass, but it's all about risk. We don't want to take any risks. No,
and it's funny you bring up Allardyce. It's like Everton were wavering in the relegation zone when he comes in. He gets them top 10. They're in fine position, and there is not an Everton fan you can speak to that wants him at the club next year.
No, yeah. Newcastle were the same with him as well. Certain clubs, and if Everton are like that, can people now start to understand why United fans get really frustrated with negative football? Everton fans, Allardyce has kept him up and they want him gone because they've got a history of not playing direct route one long ball football.
I mean, you think back to last season too, with the Europa League, that was a big enough trophy that everyone was content with the way we were playing. We didn't play differently last year. We won a title that mattered to people. This season, we're fighting for an FA Cup. Nobody really cares. Even at a best-case scenario, you're moderately excited by it. So
I must say I'm very looking forward to the FA Cup. Now, that might be because I'm a little bit older and the FA Cup will always carry some magic to me. And when it's FA Cup final day, I'll be very, very excited.
Agree. And
when we're sat there in the summer, I'll probably be like, if we grind it out and we don't play very well, I will be thinking, at what point are we ever going to get back to playing good football? Because, you pick your team because of family, because of, but some people pick their team because they're a kid and they see a good football team and they're like, I like them and I'm going to support them. People aren't going to be watching United and thinking I'm going to support them.
No. Like, I torture myself at work. I don't need to torture myself watching football. And it's tough when you really consider it, though, because when you look back, if Liverpool didn't win...
Oh, De Gea. What a save. I mean, it bounced up nice for him. And De Gea makes a cracking save. Darth Vader says, I find your lack of faith disturbing. Thanks for the contribution, pal. But it's a decent dipper. And, well, De Gea's got it covered.
He's unbelievable.
It's Murray.
He's unbelievable.
It's Fellaini's man again.
Well, the De Gea theory.
Paul Robinson says, I'm over this football, win or not, we are dull. And I do feel that that's starting to trip in, which is a bit dangerous. We've got to be careful because we have got an FA Cup final. We are second in the league. But I think the way this game's going already, you can see that if we're going to win this, it's going to be the same old, same old. I think we've had another contribution here before I go back to you, Jared. Mr. Excalifus says, how much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck chuck asked Woodward he bought a big tree? Thanks for that. Thanks for the contribution. Remember, you can do that through the $ at the bottom of the live comments, but please do leave us a comment so we can read it out for you. But
he is the best goalie on earth, and it's funny because I cannot understand why he stays. I really don't get it. I don't. You have teams. Every team on earth would have him as the poster child of their team, and I feel like we sometimes take him for granted as a fan base.
We're talking about that at the start of the week. I mean, we've got a great defence, whatever. But I think if you did take De Gea out there and put him just for a half decent keeper, we'd be in big trouble. I mean, not just in the Mourinho era, but I think some of them seasons we would have been like down in 8th. When we finished 6th and 4th, I think we would have been down in 6th and 8th. He's that good, and I don't think our defence is actually that good. I think De Gea makes it a half decent defence into a good defence because you've got De Gea behind you. I mean, we've got 2 wingers who are 33 this summer playing at fullback, and one of them's a right winger playing at left back.
Yeah.
We maybe score second, but Liverpool is right behind us, says Bayesh Fia. And Ziad El Aldi says, the sad thing about watching Pogba in this team is under Klopp or Guardiola, he would easily be the best player in the Premier League. I don't know. And Matthew West says, United, the only team to pass backwards from the box. I disagree with that one a bit, Jared. I'll ask for your opinion on that. Pogba is a player that I think, even in a game like this, he should be running it. Regardless of who his manager is. He has got a responsibility. I've played in bad teams before and still raised my game, so that's not an excuse. Pogba's got to get into the game and dictate it, and I think that's the journey he's on anyway. He's still getting better and better himself.
I mean, did we really look? De Gea is unbelievable, but I kind of thought that Pogba, this is the year that he would have won Player of the Year for the club, that he would have been the focal point of everything we did, and it just doesn't seem like it's worked out completely. But I'm not losing faith on Pogba. I just don't know if Mourinho's the guy to get the best out of him. But he is one of the most talented players in the world. For some reason, not when he plays for us. After the World Cup, watch what everyone says about him. He will be incredible. Because he has a manager who's going to release him.
Why does he go backwards then? It's a lovely little play between Martial and Pogba. Martial continues the run and Mata passes it back. We might still get a goal. No. Rashford. Oh, good block there by Brighton. He caught that well. Nathan Brown says Darmian and Fellaini on the same flank. Oh dear. Yeah, I clocked that myself. I think a lot of people have Darmian and Fellaini passing between each other a lot.
I mean, is anyone happy with the way we're playing? I don't know.
We've done a little bit better in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Because we've got the ball to the front three. That's the problem. They're starved of oxygen because they're not getting the ball from the midfield.
Well, on another note, think back to the first play of the game. If Fellaini had scored, could we complain? Or would Mourinho have been content going 1-0 the rest of the game?
I do think we'll win this game. I know Paul Robinson sort of hinted at it. I think we'll win this game because we've got the better quality, that we will create something and we'll grind it out. Brighton will probably be the better team, but they haven't got the quality to finish it. I mean, I can't remember who we played. Was it Huddersfield away in the Cup early on? Somebody. They absolutely battered us, our midfield. They played through us all the time, but they could have played all year and they wouldn't have scored because they didn't have the quality in the final third. United will grind wins out in these sort of games because when we get our chance, we will score it. Whereas all these other teams, they play better than us, but they haven't got the quality in that final third. Good shot by Rashford, but the Brighton defender just headed it away.
It was a nice stop by them.
Breach69 says, watching United's like having a tooth pulled. It's exciting when Martial gets the ball, but they're not getting it enough.
Yeah, this is a good point. Not one part of me is happy watching this apart from the De Gea save. I mean, I do think it's gotten to the point where we're watching games because we are fans and we won't miss them, but we tolerate what we're seeing versus we're excited by it. And it's getting more and more monotonous to watch 90 minutes of football when you know you're grinding out results every single week. And again, I think there's a good shot Liverpool win the Champions League, City won the league. There's no United manager who could come away from that.
I'm just dreading Jose saying in a press conference, I wish Liverpool all the luck in the final, because that will be the worst thing he's ever said. And I just think some of his press conferences this year have been so bad that I'm terrified he's going to say that. He doesn't need any more.
No. I mean, look, it is Madrid.
That was.
But you know what's crazy? Even if Liverpool lose that game, their fan base will sit there and say, we're thrilled we made it. We played unbelievable football. We're happy with it. Even if they are, oh, here we go. Hold up. Well, that was not Rashford. That was just horrible. All right, got a corner. Again, though, I can't judge Rashford. He does not get a chance to actually play. So it's like he's just getting into the game. It's the first game he started in a long time. It's tough to understand sometimes Mourinho. And I read a comment saying people like him too much. And I think the theory is that those people, like me, are results-oriented people. We just want a Premier League title as a result of Mourinho. And then we are...
I totally agree with that. I was saying that before you came on. Everyone's like, why are you Mourinho in still? Because the reason I was Mourinho in when we got him wasn't because he plays youth or because he plays great football. It's because he wins a title and United need a title. And that's why I think he should be given year 3. Because I invested in Mourinho as Manchester United manager simply because he wins titles everywhere he goes. And we will be cheated, those people who wanted him, if he doesn't do that. I'm not saying he's going to do it, but that's what he's done throughout his career. And it's not about his style of football. I appreciate it. It's not brilliant. And his use of youth is not great. But he delivers titles. And I think we're on the same page with that. But, you know, I'm concerned about whether he actually is going to win as a title. But that is why I am Mourinho in, because he wins titles. That ball has got to go quicker, Pogba. Again, too many touches, runs into space, hits the ground. But there was a run by Rashford and he takes an extra touch.
Because he has to do something flary all the time. Can't just do his job, which I think is a frustrating point that Mourinho makes about him. Always too much.
Yeah, Mourinho's right about that. Luis Fernandez is another, and there's a shot here from Brighton that I think De Gea does tip over the box. Luis Fernandez says, I want to see Martial and Mata gone this summer. Well, I hope that comment's not based on tonight, mate, because we're not playing FIFA. Just because Martial and Mata plays doesn't mean they both score a hat-trick. They must be given good quality ball, and they're not getting anything because we are spending most of this game in our half with a midfield that's being run through like a hot knife through butter because it's slow, static and lazy. If your midfield doesn't provide the front forward... I've said this about Lukaku all season. People like to say Lukaku's, he's lazy, he's not doing anything. How many chances does he get? Because our midfield has been the problem all season. Ball from back to front, not quick enough. and not strong enough.
You know, Mourinho is just Machiavellian. That's the problem. The ends justify the means with him, which I understand, but I think sometimes he takes it too far. Like, Martial should have had an arm around his shoulder. He's that talented. He's worth it. I don't sometimes get it. I don't think it's the point that Martial is the most important player on the team. I think fans look at him and they see what he can do, and they see Mourinho stunting growth instead of enhancing it, and it's difficult to watch.
Well, Saprit says here, and just Paul Robinson, he asks, am I entertained? Well, I'm entertained by all your lot, because there's, actually, you tend to get like quite a lot of passionate debate when it's a game like this, because we all start, we all become managers ourselves and start saying this is going wrong, this is what needs to happen. So they're quite interesting shows. But Saprit says Martial's playing crap, not sure what the fuss is all about him. But yet again, you've got to understand football. You've got to have played football. You've got to watch football. You've got to understand football. And look, Lukaku is the prime example. Let's take it away from Martial. A lot of people were saying Lukaku was crap around October, November time. He wasn't crap. He just wasn't. Think about that Liverpool game 0-0. We were parking the bus at Anfield. You can't say Lukaku's crap in a game when he doesn't get any of the ball. You can't say Martial and Mata and Rashford are crap in this game when they're not getting the ball. Actually, when Martial's had the ball, he's looked quite lively. So, but then, they're not having a very good game. No, they're not. But how many times are they getting the ball? That's the problem. You can't say somebody's crap and let's sell them, because actually, that comment you said about Pogba in a Man City team, I would agree. Martial and Rashford and Mata in a Man City team would be one of their best players, because they're going to get loads of ball in the final third, because that's what Man City do.
Well, I still think there's a very likely shot if Martial does leave, he's going to a Premier League rival. I have this weird feeling that we would trade him for like Willian or something, like something crazy like that, and then you'd watch the next Salah come. So we'll hope that doesn't happen. But you can't expect every single game someone to be perfect, but they improve, and then they become impossible to drop. And nobody has been able to improve besides 4 people, because they continue to change the lineup every week. Sack this bus driver. Yeah, but again, here's a good point. Brighton will win, right? If we play like this the whole game, would you really want a 1-0 win? At this point, we're going to have Champions League football. Do we, the fans, value it as much as Mourinho does, or do you want to see things exposed? I don't know. That has to be an internal debate.
Hilmer, we can't show you the match because that's illegal, and we don't do that. United Stand is Manchester United's biggest independent fan channel, and we're not going to show illegal content because we'd be the smallest independent fan channel because we wouldn't exist. You can't do it. And the Watchalong was something that started about 2 years ago because a few United Stand regulars said, can you go live when the game's on and we can just all chat about it while we watch it? So, I'm sorry it frustrates some people who are new to it, but this was only a little cult thing that started a couple of years ago for United Stand regulars to be watching a game together, and it's grown from there. So apologies if you think we should be showing you the live game, but that's never been the intention, and that's not what the watch along is all about. So we'll certainly keep you up to date with what's going on, and do join the debate. Lennon Allen, it's not working for United in this game. I still stand by the fact that we'll win it, Jared. I think we'll win it because Brighton, a better team, would beat us. But if this was Spurs, Chelsea or City, we'd play better. It's sort of, we're in that, this is why we're second. I've sort of figured it out in the last couple of minutes. How are we second? And what it is we play against these sort of teams. They play us off the park, but they haven't got the quality to score the goals from the chances. And when we get the 1 or 2 chances, we score and we win, and we grind out a result. But when we play the better teams, the top 4 or 5, our players suddenly give a shit, and we raise our game. So we can beat the top 6. And we can beat these teams because we'll play crap against them, but we'll grind it out. But when we play the top teams, we'll actually turn up.
It's just it's bewildering. They can't turn up for 38, 39 games. It's like they can turn up for 12.
Stephen Willock says this is simply hideous football. Too much of it's going down the right. I mean, that pass from Fellaini there is rubbish for Martial.
Listen, I'm I think the more important award this year, like I said, I think certain players need to win individual achievements that they've worked for 5 years and still haven't won them. I think De Gea has to win his award. The FA Cup is fine. Let people feel good about that. But if Mourinho does not win the Premier League or the Champions League, he needs to be out of a job next year. I think. I don't think anyone's going to put up with this another year.
Well, I think, he's got to be given 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he gets everything he wants this summer, every signing he wants, everything to go the right way so that there is no excuses. Come on, De Gea. Again. You just don't even think they're going to score. You know he's that good. Yeah, Fellaini, sorry, you're sweating. I saw this oaf in New York once. I knew it was him. You can't tell that wig anywhere else.
Oh, and you didn't kidnap him and lock him up for a year.
I tried.
I would have paid the bread and the water.
All right.
In fact, it wouldn't even be bad for him. I don't want him to be like punished or anything like that. We'll put him up in that hotel from Home Alone. Room serviced a lot. We'll give him the best year of his life in New York. We'll take him to Central Park every day. He can have a walk. Absolutely everything. As long as he's not playing for Manchester United. I don't want the guy to be punished. It's not about hate. It's just don't have him anywhere near United.
Just go to the MLS, Fellaini. He would be a perfect fit. It's fine. Fake league, moderately decent player. Perfect fit.
This has fallen into the trap that I really feared when the team news came out. And people were saying, oh, stop being so negative. But I did say it, and I have been proved right. Really happy about Martial, Rashford and Mata playing, but all three of them crap. Not because of them individually, because they're not getting the ball, because you've got Fellaini and Darmian and Matic, and it's too slow, it's too static. Darmian doesn't go forward like Valencia does. Fellaini can't pass the ball and be quick across the ground like Herrera does. You take those two players out and you lose attacking impetus. And Pogba's the only player who can provide that. So Brighton just swamp Pogba. They know Matic and Fellaini can't do anything creatively. And the front three become redundant.
Yeah. I mean, how is it 0-0 in the 35th minute of a game against Brighton? It's continuously the same problem week after week. If we have a good week, we just go 2 steps backwards the next week. And like I said, even for the people who back Mourinho more than anyone else, which I find to be one of them, it's getting difficult to sit there and say everything he's doing is right, or even 80% of the things he's doing are right, because the things he's doing wrong are becoming a huge problem. Can't have a divided fan base over Fellaini to keep Mourinho if he's not producing results.
He doesn't, you know what? One of the things I like about Mourinho is he just total belief in himself, and he knows that most of the fan base don't want Fellaini. Well, I'm going to be polite and say in a starting 11. Some people don't even want him in the club, but he knows that United fans don't want to see him starting games, and he still does it. There is that element of Mourinho's personality, and I think Herrera said it a couple of months ago. He doesn't care what people think about him. And that's quite a weird personality to have, that you don't care what people think, because a lot of people on differing levels want to be liked, and I don't think Mourinho necessarily does. And therefore, he won't care what the fans think. He will do what Mourinho thinks. But that doesn't really fit in with what United's all about. When Sir Alex Ferguson, as I said before the game, constantly was quoted with things, you've got to entertain the fans. If you don't, you're finished at United if the fans don't like you and things like that. But Mourinho doesn't feel like that.
Not at all.
And that's why Fellaini will stay. I mean, I don't, forget about Fellaini. His performance tonight hasn't been great, but I don't care whether it's Fellaini, Rashford, Martial, whoever. He should not have started today after what he said 2 days ago, which is basically the club made a mistake. They've treated me badly. And then he's playing. I mean, mock the club and then start.
Well, what did Pogba says something, gets slated by Mourinho. Fellaini says something, he's a hero. I don't get the separate treatment for a subpar player. I don't get it. Even if you don't mind that he stays, I don't understand how anybody could be okay with that. And again, it's a further problem of endorsing a player who shouldn't even be wearing the badge, who doesn't care about the club, who cares about money, but just because he trains well. Congratulations. we will win this game, but it won't. Again, papering over bigger cracks that could really expose themselves next year, and that title gap just keeps getting longer and larger. City are still battering teams 4-1 every game. Lukaku is important for us. I get it. Lukaku, I think, is very important the way Mourinho...
Lukaku would be crap in a game like this, though, because he's still going to be Martial, Rashford and Mata not getting any decent ball. Sanchez would be crap in this game. Lingard would be crap in this game. It doesn't matter who... Messi, Ronaldo and Neymar could be the front three. They would be crap in this game because they're not getting the ball.
Yeah. And I don't understand the game plan.
I mean, I think Pogba could come off. He's having a dreadful game. Abdi for Ahmed says, well, thanks for the contribution, pal. Remember, you can do that through the $ at the bottom of the live comments. But please do leave us a comment so we can read it out.
To be honest, though, I see Mata coming off at half.
I think Mata's tried. I do think Mata has tried.
Yeah. And it's funny, the passes that are being screwed up are being sent most of the time to our favorite player, Fellaini, who seems to have no communicative ability with the rest of the team.
But Brighton aren't a quick team. They're not a quick team, but you don't have to be quick.
How is it give credit to Brighton? People frustrate sometimes.
You don't have to be, pace isn't necessarily about, a part of it is, but Brighton are so quick, but they're not quick players. They're just quick on the ball. They're direct, they're tenacious, and it makes them look so fast compared to us. I mean, I know everyone loves Matic, but I mean, he just gets absolutely skins there and he hasn't got the legs to get back. No, Rashford is the worst on the pitch right now, says Peter Van Rocky. Look, Rashford's not had a great game in relation to his first touch, I'd agree with that, but he's not had hardly any of the ball either. How many chances has Rashford had? Pogba's been the best player, Matt has been poor, says Karan Banzai. It's amazing how people see it, because I think Pogba's been dreadful.
Yeah. I'm a massive
Pogba fan.
I think you could take Mata off, put Lingard on pretty seamlessly. And I think Lingard will do well in a game like this.
The darkness says Fellaini get out of our club. Yeah, he's not been great. But he'll probably score from a header and we'll win it 1-0. And then it's like,
right.
That's all that matters. But it doesn't. It doesn't matter because there's a bigger picture here, isn't there? You can't grind. You can't just keep grinding out results as Manchester United 1-0, 1-0, or 2-0 with rubbish football. But oh yeah, we won. It's the overall game that matters.
And this is the point: is like we don't need Fellaini to be a hero at 1-0 against Brighton.
Well, that was a good ball by Fellaini there, and Rashford's won a corner.
I don't know. I can't root against people on your team, but you really they make it tough.
Josh Punata says it's 1 AM in my country and I'm literally going to sleep. I don't know how you're doing it, mate. I remember watching the US tour and we're doing it again this summer, and it's like it's difficult at 3-4 in the morning. This would be Blue Eyes White Jager says we are the only team in the top 6 who can win ugly. He's right. Good, thanks for the contribution. He is right. We can grind out results. That's why we're second. Abitur Ahmed, thanks for the contribution. We can. And we do. That's why we're second, because we do grind out results. We're very clinical. If teams don't finish us off, and Brighton, I mean, we've got a corner here, they could go in 1-0 down and they've been the better team. And, how many times have we done that this season? It's hard for Pogba when there's no movement, says Nathan Brown. Yeah, look, I don't think Pogba's played very well. I'm not digging the lad out. I just think he's a victim of a rubbish midfield. Too slow, too static, and everyone in Brighton knows that Pogba's the only creative force in that midfield three. Whereas if Herrera's in there, he's a creative force, and Brighton have got to worry about both sides. There's an injury at the moment. MUOK says, will you comment on the game? I think we've just spent about 43 minutes commenting on the game. I don't know what game are you watching a different game? Is there championship football on or something that you're expecting us to talk about?
Well, to be honest, there is championship football on right now.
Maybe he's thinking about that one.
Yeah, we're playing championship football right now.
At least everyone's got the weekend free after today.
Yeah.
Positive. And it's a bank holiday in the UK, so that's 3 days off with no United game. And I'll
It's
tell you
kind
what, we'll put up some sensational transfer videos up on the United stands so we can just forget about football and hope.
By the way, don't we have El Clasico this weekend too?
Sunday night, yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be a good one. At least you get to watch open football.
Coppa Italia Wednesday night. Juventus AC Milan. So there's some good games coming up. Who got to the Europa League final? Was it Marseille?
Yeah. Marseille Atletico.
Yeah, obviously I knew it was Atletico. I enjoyed that one.
It was a fun watch along. I felt
Good
bad
luck
for
Chelsea and Arsenal in the Europa League. God, I actually do feel sorry for them. I know we won it last year, but I would never ever want to be in it again. There's no part of me that would want to defend it or be back in it. It is a bloody nightmare, and it destroys your Premier League season. But Chelsea and Arsenal, you've either got to make a decision very early on. You're going to play your reserves and focus on the Premier League, or you're going to go all out for that. But if you go all out for it, it's such a gamble because you could end up playing someone like Atletico Madrid, who are one of the best teams in the world.
It's very interesting.
We wouldn't have won it last year. I disagree with Jose when he said we'd have won it if we were in the Europa League. How are we going to manage that? Atletico Madrid are second in the Liga. Sevilla are crap, and Sevilla beat us over 2 legs. God knows what Atletico Madrid would do to us.
No, Atletico Madrid would stifle us, and we couldn't break them down. At least playing like this.
Biosphere says it's like 28 days later. Poor Kylian Murphy.
No shots on target. That is just something else, honestly. I mean, then the other question is I made a little pool with my friends, and it's who gets the closest to how much we're going to end up paying Fellaini to stay for 1 year. And I actually think they're going to end up paying him like over $200,000 a week.
Who?
You watch. This idiot is going to he's going to rob this club blind. Stop picking on Fellaini. Get him out of my club. I'll stop picking on Fellaini.
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, they just panned to Jose there. I really like Jose.
Miserable.
I've always liked him. I hated him at Chelsea, but in a like way. And what's that from Pogba there? And but he just doesn't look happy. He looks miserable. I know Pogba's just done a rubbish pass there, but he could be on the touchline clapping. Pep would be clapping. He could be clapping, saying, keep your head up, come on, keep going, keep going. He just looks fed up and bored of the job.
He made a comment, I don't know, a couple months ago saying, like, I don't do these things that the other managers do anymore. I've grown up. Maybe he lost it, like, along the way, because I kind of want to see my manager being a mental patient on the sidelines, screaming and yelling and going nuts with the players because it gets them going. When your manager's already in the tunnel, what do you say? Yeah,
well, we are at half-time. Let me just sort out the...
Jose is as bad as Van Gaal. I mean, nobody's as bad as Van Gaal, but he's not advancing the team like I would have liked.
So look at some of the comments then. Disgraced as Andy Williams. Jose already in the changing rooms. Give him hell, says the Phil6688. The team hates Jose's tactics, says SB. Herrera on and Lingard on. More garbage, says Jambo. Change the whole squad, says Sharif. I want stud marks in heads. XB Roughneck says MLS is more entertaining to watch. Hashtag LAFC. Thanks for the contribution, pal. And the whole team is so bad, says Vidal. And Brevy Boy, FA meaning F all. And embarrassing. Ernest Tabria says the players are scared to make a mistake. And trash playing style, says Kamani. Embarrassing. And Prince Awika says there's too much negativity on this watch along. This is the best match I've ever seen. I added that bit in the end. But he does say there's a lot of negativity on there. I wish he'd added something on to that, because I'd love to know. I'd love to know why United fans should be happy with a half where Brighton have played very, very fast attacking, pressing football, and United have played slow, conservative, second best football. I mean, literally, we're second in the league, but yeah, really, really, we're really poor. And look, I agree, Martial, Rashford and Mata have had bad halves, and Pogba's had a bad half, but what do you expect when you've got Matic and Fellaini in the midfield? They are slow, negative, players, and we're getting overrun in the midfield. I predicted this when I saw the team news. I feared it. I was like, Fellaini and Matic in a midfield three with Pogba. All Brighton have got to do is focus on Pogba, because Fellaini's not going to play anything creative. He's not quick. Matic is going to sit back. It's lambs to the slaughter for Martial and Rashford, because they're not going to get any decent ball, and they haven't had any. Darmian's rubbish at right back. We all know that, and he's only playing because we haven't got anybody else, and Valencia needs a rest. Ashley Young, they've exploited that left-hand side time and time again, like everybody else all season. And I think Smalling and Rojo have done okay, to be fair, and De Gea's been De Gea. But, I think, for me, the same old problems with United, Jared, is that it's the midfield. It's the midfield. The midfield can't move the ball from back to front quick enough, and they starve our attack, and they're too slow. And it's too easy for Brighton. And yet again, if Brighton could finish, we'd probably be 2 down.
You know what? The comment continues to come up, which if we had teams that were more clinical playing against us, we would be doing substantially worse. I don't know what to say. Like, at 45 minutes, it's 0-0 against Brighton. If this is the game plan, then that's a problem. And if it's not the game plan, then who's not executing Jose's game plan to do better? Because I don't understand what he wants anymore, I guess. Even backing him, I back that I think he can bring us a title. But even I think I'm just saying it now. I don't even know that I believe that anymore. I don't know that he can bring us a title. I now hope that he can bring us one.
No. Just having a quick look at some of the comments. My best mate's just messaged me. He says, not sure how you maintain an interest in these fuckers. Awful bloody team. Quite frank there. He'll be very, very, very annoyed, because he likes to go and have a drink in Ireland. Well, he lives in Ireland. He likes to go and have a drink on a Friday night. So if he stayed in to watch United, I think a lot of people would be very, very annoyed. There is a bit of stick in the live comments for Martial and Rashford and Mata. I'm going to defend all three of them and say I don't understand this, because what are they supposed to do? They can't magic the ball. They've not got magnets in their feet. They've got to be provided the ball, and they've not hardly had the ball. Mata's been coming very deep to get it. No point. Martial and Rashford are trying to play on the last line, but they may as well go and sit next to Jose on the bench, because we're not delivering them the ball. We're not delivering them the ball. And Brighton's midfield is cutting through our midfield too easily. It's a double negative with United. We move the ball too slowly, and then as a team, we're very slow. We don't press. It's an absolute paradise for teams like Brighton. But we are second in the league. As I said in the first half, we're second in the league because we'll win this game 1 or 2-0. We'll all be there at full time saying, that was awful, but we won. And I guarantee we'll win it, because Brighton just don't have the quality to hurt us. And then when we play Chelsea in the final, or we play Spurs at Wembley, or Man City at the Etihad, or Arsenal, we raise it, because Mourinho wants to raise it, because he wants to deal with the opposition and use his tactical nous. But against these teams, we never go into it and want to play on the front foot. We don't. I can't think of a chance we had in that game, apart from the Fellaini goal, which was a mile offside. So we should discount that, and the Rashford volley, which the Brighton player headed away. So that wasn't, that was never a problem. We can't think of a chance.
No, it's also nice that Brighton have 3 shots on goal. We have 0.
Yeah, and that's not on the front three. The midfield is the problem there, and he needs to change the midfield, because it's static, it's slow. And also, I said it in the first half, Jared, why don't we just chuck Fellaini up front? If he's on the pitch, let's do what he's effective at. He can't be any worse than that. Let's go long ball. Let's just chuck Fellaini up front, take Rashford off, put Herrera on to be more combative, chuck Fellaini up front, and get Ashley Young and Darmian to whack 50-yard balls into the box, because Fellaini's a waste of time. He's an absolute waste of time unless he's on the end of a long ball, and we're sitting him in the midfield. I mean, that's one of the biggest frustrations for me about Fellaini is he was decent at Everton. He was decent against Arsenal at the weekend because he spent all of his time in the opposition's box. This weird thing that's happened over the last couple of years where he's become a centre defensive midfielder. He can't pass. He can't run. His first touch is a foul. Get him in the opposition's box. If he's on the pitch, put him in the opposition's box. Don't get him in the centre circle, because it's like a bag of cement.
It's like a B-Tech Lukaku. And the other thing is his defensive abilities are non-existent. He just runs at people, loses his player, commits idiotic fouls. But the thing is he will always be the focal point of fans' frustrations because he has never endeared himself to us ever. So what's the answer? He comes away with great goals, one big game a year, and that keeps him going at the club. And good for him, right?
Yeah. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the United Stand. We're going for 220,000 subscribers. So do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Get involved. Give us your opinions. Remember, we'll be live after the game as well, taking your thoughts as well. Hopefully, I still think we'll grind it out. Bayern1 says, Mark, you did a call-in a few weeks ago asking what you need to do to convince people to back Jose. My question to you is, what more do you need to do to see before you stop backing him? I could cry watching this. I'll come back to that. And Calamity Jones says, need antidepressants to watch this United team under Mourinho. Thanks for the contribution, lads. Remember, you can do that through the $ in the bottom right-hand corner. Rashford actually probably had the best chance of the game. Just watching it back there. All he's got to do is cut it back to Martial, and Martial's got to tap in. And he takes too many touches, as Jose said so many times. But going back to Bayern 1's contribution there, thanks for that. He said, what do you need to do to convince players? I think we both said that, Jared, really. I mean, why are we Mourinho in? We're Mourinho in because...
results.
Yeah, simple as that, isn't it? I wanted Mourinho as manager because he wins titles. There was nothing more.
No.
There was nothing more. I wanted him as manager because United need to win a title. We haven't won one in 5 years now. It's going to be 6. He guaranteed titles. He's done it everywhere. So that's why I wanted Mourinho. It wasn't for his style of football. Wasn't for his, love for the fans. Wasn't for his, use of youth. It was because he wins titles. That's it.
Right.
I can't defend this. I can't defend this style of play. I can't defend what he's doing with Fellaini. I can't back that. It's wrong.
No.
But we're second in the league and he wins titles. That's all there is.
It's just it gets very frustrating and it wears you down because being results oriented is very simple, right? You want a title. Whatever you have to do to get there is worth it. But then you start to think after years what you have to do to get the title, and is selling Martial, selling talent. I don't like Luke Shaw, but I can understand people who like him, and I get that. Selling him, selling or loaning out Rashford, and bringing in older talent that doesn't enhance your youth. And then you end up in a situation where you're just stuck. And for 20 years you've been chasing a title, and then you're Arsenal. So I do think we're getting dangerously close to having a real problem at the club, because I don't know that many people actually believe he can bring us a Premier League title anymore.
No, I agree. Sebastian United, Mark, I just can't watch this. Grinding out isn't right. Thanks for the contribution, pal. And yeah, look, I am still Mourinho in, and I think he's got to be given year 3. This is why Fellaini's my worst favourite player at United. I can't stand the football that he plays, but I want him to stay because Mourinho wants him to stay. And it's almost become a sadistic thing now for me. I'm still hanging on to the fact that Mourinho will win as a title because that's the reason I wanted him. But if he's going to get it wrong, I want him to get it wrong on his terms. I don't want it to get it wrong because I don't want him to be saying next season I wanted Fellaini and the club didn't keep him. If he wants Fellaini at this club, bloody give him the contract and let's see what happens. Because, if he proves us all wrong and we win a title, then that's all I ever wanted anyway. But if he gets it wrong and we win sod all, then, we can all say, well, we were right, weren't we? But, did we really want to be saying that as United fans? At the end of the day, we just want to be winning titles and playing good football. It is important. And as you said, Jared, Everton have been kept up by Sam Allardyce. He's kept them up and they want him gone because they hate his football. If Everton are saying that, then of course United fans with the history we've got are going to be saying it about that sort of performance again.
Yeah, it's again, it goes back to a very simple guy. It's Machiavellian. It's just the ends justify the means in all aspects of the way he runs the club, top to bottom. Player development, who's starting, how he speaks to the press, how he acts, how he treats the fans. As long as he delivers results, everything is secondary. But he's not. So how long do you put up with it before you hire a person who you may have to take a step back to move 5 steps forward?
Jade Cohen says, can you explain to me how Fellaini is a Manchester United player? Martial, Rashford and Pogba are at least trying to, but Matic sitting and Fellaini's supposed to be a box-to-box. Yeah, good point. Look, I don't know. I think Mourinho's stubbornness tonight was, I wouldn't have picked Fellaini tonight simply because he slagged the club off 2 days ago. That, for me, would have been disciplinary. You're not playing. He plays him. I bet he wishes he disciplined him because actually he's not enhanced his reputation. I think he's thinking Brighton aren't that good, Fellaini will play well and more people will start to want him to stay, and I don't think he's enhanced his reputation at all. Thunderpants, thanks for the contribution and love the name. And Lucas Pemberton says, why did Rashford not play that ball? Don't get it. Because too many touches on the ball. For anybody who didn't see it, Rashford's cutting in down the right hand side from a mistake from Brighton. Martial's unmarked on the penalty box. It's a simple pass. He doesn't take it. He takes 2 more touches. Brighton closed down. It goes for a corner. It's not all Mourinho. It's not all Mourinho. Mourinho has said this. Players taking too many touches, and Pogba did it a lot in that half as well. Mata did it a lot. There's something not mentally right with the players, and maybe that's lack of confidence. Maybe they're scared. I don't know, but we're not taking the risk. That wasn't even the risk. That was the simple ball. Raj says, Jose, thanks Raj Delukai for the contribution. He says, Jose is one of the only managers in the world who is criticised for finding tactical solutions that result in wins. Raj, you're right, but you're wrong, because you're right that he shouldn't get criticised for getting results, but this is not about being second in the league. Look, I sit here as devil's advocate because I read the live comments and I have my opinions, but I want Mourinho to stay for the reasons I've said. But every comment I read about people who are fed up with Mourinho, it's nothing to do. It's not that they're not grateful about being second or winning the Europa League. It's because of the football. Football is not a results industry, and that sounds really stupid, but it actually isn't. If you support certain clubs, Manchester United can't just win every game 1-0 by parking the bus and playing long ball. You will never survive. You can't do that because our history is youth, attack, risk. That's what we do. So you can't just be, well, we're winning. That's not a Manchester United fan. It's as wrong as the United fan on Twitter in the week who said, I don't care what anyone says, I want Liverpool to win because they're English. They got panned for that because of the history and the rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester United. It's because of the history of Manchester United and the way we play. You can't just suddenly go, oh, let's back Jose because it's results. I think a lot of people are backing him because of that, but the clash is because of the way this club plays football, and we're not doing that, and that is why there should not be a divide, Jared. There shouldn't be a divide, should they? Second in the league, FA Cup final, there shouldn't be there shouldn't be this much unhappiness.
Yeah, and again, every club he's ever been at, it's the same thing. It becomes, you wait to get to a point or a title that you've been searching or wanting, you get it, fans turn. He doesn't even make it the 3rd season at Chelsea. Every time. He's been fired mid-season, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason. I mean, Abramovich is a mental patient, but even removing that from the equation, it's something about the way he is. He does look like a depressed human being when he coaches this team, which I don't understand. Have you ever heard anyone else being depressed getting the opportunity to coach this club?
No.
So
no. Thanks, Thunderpants, again. No. Well, he's kept the same 11 out. We're about to kick off with the second half, so let me start.
Just kind of shocked, too. Some people should have been subbed. That was not a good half of football.
Yeah, but I think I didn't expect there to be any substitutions because actually I think Jose is just like, you know what?
I can't admit I'm wrong.
Well, not only that. I just think a bit of apathy, I suppose, as well. It's like, look at his bench. He's got 2 defenders. Luke Shaw isn't going to come on for the captain.
No.
There's no reason to bring Lindelof and Bailly on because Rojo and Smalling haven't done anything wrong. The only 2-3 players he could bring on are Herrera, McTominay and Lingard. I think it'd be unfair to take any of the front 3 off because they've just been starved. So he's got to look at the midfield. He ain't going to take Matic off. He isn't going to take Fellaini off. So I can see why if he takes Pogba off, I think that'd be wrong. But somebody did say in the live comments, I guarantee he's going to take Pogba off again. But
This is a good one. Manchester United had 1 touch in the opponent box for the entire first half today. So that's a nice stat to take home with you. Brighton is holding us to 1 touch in their entire box. Not shots, touch.
well, that must be Rashford then.
Yeah.
When he put it back. I think we'll win it. I think we'll win it, everybody. By the way, I have said this all the way through. I think we'll win. Fan cams are going to be good.
Yeah.
I know for a fact we've got somebody coming on who wanted to be on last week and was very, very critical about Jose Mourinho. And I think he might be quite critical if it lays like this. But Ryan Giggs or Pochettino as manager, style guaranteed, says Mohammed Ashan Ejaz. I don't like having that conversation, if I'm totally honest with you. Fellaini just got a terrible tackle there. Could have been a red. Nasty that was.
But is he out now, at least?
No. You can't say that. I don't condone that in any way.
Yeah,
let's go back to the question in hand. Gary Neville said he's all right. He's running fine. Gary Neville said that he, wants Mourinho to be successful, but he'd like Pochettino here next. Giggs or Pochettino? Jared?
Neither. But I guess Pochettino. I always find that he's been held back by the ability of the Spurs to not spend money. So I think he's done well with them.
Well, Giggs is a total shot in the dark, isn't he? Let's be honest. It's a romance, but it's a big shot in the dark.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny though, talking about managers. I think the reason the board loved Mourinho is Mourinho did something that was extremely important for them. Very important. The Chevy contract, they were cut 30% of the entire contract's worth if they missed the Champions League 2 seasons in a row.
And it was an epic way of doing it, wasn't it? Because we didn't get in through the league. It was, the Europa League is very hard to win, and Mourinho won it. And we were lucky at times, but we deserved to win it. And I think, you're right. I think the board at United do feel indebted to Mourinho for that because, it wasn't lost on any of us. That was...
No, that's $200 million.
Defended on that.
Yeah, it's a $200 million mistake if they lose that game. That's how the board looks at it. The owners, it's a business. So in business terms,
to defend Mourinho, though, the board loved him that much because he made them a lot of money. They wouldn't give him Perisic. Just shows you they're all about money, innit?
You know what though? I guarantee you, if you asked the board right now, would we have given? I guarantee you, they would have said we should have given him the guy he wanted. That was a mistake.
Ooh,
and I think they'll learn from that. There's no way they would make that same mistake again. Oh. Is Dybala coming? I don't know. I think he's more likely.
Pogba, really. Pogba's in the box, but there's a player in front of him. He shoots low, but keeper's not got any issues with that. United have started off better. I mean, they couldn't have been any worse. I will say that.
Right. If we lose the scenes, we're not going to lose, but it's...
You know what? Stimpy Boy says that if we lose the scenes, just imagine... I don't agree. I think if we lose this game, there'll just be apathy. It'll be like, And Jose will just say, well, this is what happens when I haven't got Lukaku and Sanchez.
Yeah.
Thunderpants says, Jose's ripping up the United rulebook. How you feel now? You pay the devil, you take the price, don't you? You pay the devil, you pay the price. I went into this with my eyes open, and I think that's what frustrates people when I say I'm still Mourinho in, is that, look, I didn't say when we got him 2 years ago, we're going to get great football, we're going to get the youth played. I knew that wasn't going to happen. It was all about winning the title. You pay the devil, you pay the price. And we had no reason to think that Mourinho was going to come here and play attacking, risk-based football. He doesn't do that. But many of us bought into it because we wanted a title. I didn't think he was going to build his team around Fellaini. I'll admit that. I'd never, when I looked at, that was one of the things that I thought he will get rid of him straight away because he doesn't like that sort of player. He's never had a midfielder or a long ball player who's just totally long ball.
No. I think Herrera would have done well in this game.
Yeah.
So funny. I see myself like now asking for like Lingard. Like, when did you ever think you'd be saying Lingard? I hope he comes on. We need a goal.
I think we will get a goal. I think we'll win this game.
Okay. Who do you think scores?
I just don't think Brighton, like a few teams we've played this season, they've played better than us, but in their final third, they haven't got that quality. I think we have got that quality. If and when we create that chance, we're very, very clinical.
Yeah, we can be.
It's just when we create that chance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Brighton posing a threat, but again, a fluky goal is all it takes. And honestly, I feel like against De Gea, you're more likely to score a fluky goal than a great goal.
They've clearly had a kick up the backside anyway.
Oh, yeah. Fellaini can't run anymore. It's tough for him.
Oh, they've got an overlap here if they get it right. See, pace and directness here. And over the top.
Unbelievable.
The amount of times that happens though, midfield running through our midfield.
We're going to need a rock in the midfield this year. Milinkovic, Savic would work. Fred would work. Any of these people would improve us greatly. But again, does that mean Fellaini starts next year? I just don't know. And you know what, honestly, if Mourinho was up front and said we only look at Fellaini as a late substitute to play long ball and score at the end if we can't break a team down, would we really hate it? No. I think we hate it because he's not a main player on a team at all, and he's treated like one.
I said this on Monday morning because a lot of people were saying, oh, stop having a go at Fellaini as a plan B for the last 20 minutes, he's great. And I said, no, you're all missing the point here. You're right about that, but he's not going to be used as a last 20-minute plan B. He will start games like he started tonight in that midfield, and we will be static and slow. That's the thing. United have actually never used Fellaini at what he's good at. Right. Very rarely do we use him in that way. Most of his time at United, he's played as a centre defensive midfielder. Contra says, in before Fellaini scores the winner again. I will not be surprised if he does, and I will say the same thing again. If he scores the winner tonight, I'll probably celebrate it as much as I did on Sunday, where I said I told you so. Because it's this, and it will turn into a GIF that gets 1,000 retweets again from someone saying, "Look at this fake United fan. He's not even celebrating a winner." But for anybody who watches the channel, and we do spend a lot of time together on this, it's not. I think there's a hypocrisy to getting off your seat and jumping like mad for Fellaini scoring a late winner anyway. When you've seen what's gone before it for the 90th minute, if we suddenly turn it on and play really good football, then it might be a different thing. But if it's just grinding out results with crap football again. I don't mind grinding out results. Sometimes you grind a 1-0 result out because you miss loads and loads of chances. But when you create no chances and play negative football, that's the problem. So Martial, he's got a decent cross on him, corner.
Can't just do a normal pass. It's really all right. I'll take the corner.
Chris Windows is 4 flex all the way down to Brighton for this. He's DJing at 1 AM as well. So
nice. That'll be fun for anyone in Brighton.
Red Bull, mate. Get on it now. Rashford on corners. Can he beat the first man? He has.
Oh, Fellaini.
Corner.
But, again, goal before the 60th.
Jesus Christ. He says, that's me for the night. Can't watch no more of this crap. Night, mate. You made such a great comment yesterday about the after the press conference. So, shame to lose you, but I can't argue with it. I do think you'll miss the winner, though.
Oh, Nice work, Fellaini, at trying to draw a penalty.
Remember, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We've got Transfer Daily Monday to Friday at 7 AM. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. Saturday night live tomorrow night, so a lot of that's going to be Q&A. Sunday night live, we'll have Flex and Sophie. And we've got the transfer shows and all that going on. I'm tell you what, Jared, I'm very, very grateful that we've started Transfer Daily this week, because it's motivated me, because this is not motivating, is it? Oh, Darmian makes a mistake. Brighton. Off the line by Rojo. No, it's a goal. It was over the line. Over the line.
What do you even say? And that hurts De Gea.
Well, it's Darmian, isn't it? Everyone's giving Fellaini a lot of stick, but Darmian's crap at right back, and that's where the goal comes from. Slips over in the box. Good cross back. Ashley Young's too small at left back, and I don't know whether that's over. Well, it must be over. It must be over.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But Brighton on the break again, cutting through the midfield. Left winger stands Darmian up, must think it's Christmas. Plays a 1-2 with him. Chips it to the back post, and Ashley Young's about 2 foot against a player who's normal height. So
it's perfect. I mean, it's Darmian, Fellaini. These people are not good enough for this team. It's just simple. These mistakes should happen once a year. It's every time they play, you know one of them is going to screw something up.
Well,
you know it. Well, at least that was easier than VAR is. Even if I'm not happy with how it went.
I tell you what, he needs to sort out them fullbacks. I know Darmian's going to get a lot of the blame, but that cross... Ashley Young's not a fullback. He's too small.
No.
He's too small there. He's too small. If he's got any height on him there, he can win that header.
It's funny. If it was another team, we would still think that they're going to win this game. So maybe this changes the way that they're playing. Who knows? But they need a goal by 65th minute, or I think it's going to be very tough to catch them. The way we're playing. Come on. I just, every time he touches the ball. Also, you notice after every single kick, someone on the team flails their arms like they're frustrated. Someone. It's always someone. No one just looks happy to play.
Well, I do feel that people like Martial and Rashford and Mata are lambs to the slaughter in a team like this. We massively miss Valencia because he bombs on and goes forward. Darmian won't do that. Fellaini is just basically a long ball merchant. He's not going to create anything. Matic is just going to sit back. So you're totally reliant on Pogba having a good game. And if Pogba doesn't have a good game, and it's a lot for him to do on his own, the front three are utterly starved of possession. There's no creativity at all.
Yeah. And I think Rashford's going to have to come off. I do. I think he's having a tough game.
I'd get Herrera on. I think Herrera's the man for me.
It's too bad, honestly, in games like this, we don't have, people like Chong. I'm not saying that they'd be perfect for it, but if he was playing them in a game like this and we lost, you could tolerate it easier. Oh, that's a penalty. Oh, come on. What a joke. We're really becoming a joke.
I love that. I tweeted out that if Ashley Young was taller than a hobbit, he would have won that header. And then somebody's replied and said, yeah, because Luke Shaw's much taller. Luke Shaw's 6 foot. Amazes me what people's perception is of Luke Shaw. They must think he's like a fat little... there we go. Yeah. Ashley Young's been done again here. Good block by Rojo. Oh, Martial's just been sent back to France there. The referee was thinking about giving a penalty there. Martial was a bit lucky.
Well, thank everyone for joining us today.
We're not there yet. We've got a super chat here from Danny Dobson. Why does Jose keep playing this crap? Mophead, diving young, Darmian. This is why we won't win the league with this shower of crap. I don't know what point. It's a good thing. Danny, I don't know. Maybe people in the live comments. I don't have those answers. I think me and Jared have been quite clear tonight as to why we back Mourinho, and it really is because he wins titles. I can't give you answers about anything else. I don't know. I don't know what the point of this is. I don't know what the point of playing such a static, slow midfield was. I think it was this was always going to happen, like it's happened countless times this season. Slow midfields get cut open by even Premier League teams down there at the bottom. You know, Ashley Young countlessly gets skinned on that left-hand side. Darmian is rubbish. You know, what do you expect? They're not going to suddenly turn into things that they've been consistently all season. Teams target our left side. Darmian doesn't play because he's rubbish. Fellaini's not a midfielder.
It's nice, too. This just took Darmian's value down even more. It's like we're trying to use him in a make-weight to get Sandro, and all we do by playing him is hurting his value.
I think Brighton probably should have had a penalty as well. Where's that title? Mark says Bayern won. Don't know. It's in the post, mate. Don't know whether it will arrive. Alfie Munn says, why are we bad against the little teams? Because
they don't
we've
care.
Got a little teams mentality. We raise it against the big teams. You know how we always criticise those teams that over the years they raise it when United come to town. Well, we've become that team. We don't play well against the little teams. We play well against the big teams because it's a big occasion and they raise it. But when it's the little teams, the heads drop.
They just don't seem to care. They also seem to be able to be broken down by subpar teams. It kind of feels like the Sevilla game too. It's like dead, broken through.
Totally wrong tactics. Thunderpants, Mourinho equals trophies. These are is Martial? These are practice games for the defence. Manu Stu, you keep saying Jose wins titles, but you're never going to win any title with this crap. Well, that may be the case, but the reality is Mourinho has always won titles everywhere he's been. Brighton are all over his ear anyway. I can't believe Jose hasn't made any substitutions.
You think he's watching? It's probably just nice. He doesn't seem to care. He really doesn't. But that's okay. I mean, again, the players need to step up for 25 minutes.
Get Scott McTominay on. You know, get Herrera on, get McTominay, just sort that midfield out. It's embarrassing. I tell you, we've lost this game because of that midfield.
It's rough. Right.
Oof, just wide from Huddersfield there. If they get the second, I think this game's over, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost resigned to thinking it could be over now. But I'll hold judgment. I still have faith. Less and less every day.
Marcus Kibbe, I feel exactly the same. He says I can't even be angry. I sort of feel the same, mate. It's exhausting. If anything, it's not apathy. It's not anger. It's just I'm not. To be honest, I'm not surprised. As soon as I saw that front three, it was the first thing I clocked, and I was like, oh, I was so excited. Then I saw the midfield and the right back, and I thought, are the front three actually going to get any ball? And tonight, we've hardly been in the attacking third.
You know what's worse, though? If you really think about it and you ask yourself, how's this game going to go before it started? The fact that you even consider that it could have gone like this is embarrassing. Nobody here, you had to think it could happen. It's just becoming more of a consistent problem now. These games keep coming every week. Slow, boring football.
That's got to be a free kick. It is, right on the edge of the box. Martial flicked it into Mata. He would have been 1-1. So I'd get Mata on this free kick as well. Come on. Mark. I just called them Huddersfield, did I? Well, same thing, innit? Same sort of result. Same sort of embarrassment. But we got a good free kick here for Mata. And it was a definitely yellow card. He would have been in. Lovely little flick by Martial to Mata. Rashford with the ball. Lovely flick by Martial. I think Mata would have been in there. Certainly would have got a shot away.
Come on.
Lauren says, remember when Mark said Rashford was better than Asensio and Mbappe? That was probably because at that time he was. I love the hindsight geniuses who wait for a moment of bad form to say, remember when they said that? There was a time when Rashford was better than them and was arguably the best young player in Europe, and that's a fact. Is he at the moment? No. He's probably no better than, well, a bad player, but, you know, there was a time when he was. Anyway, Mata. Oh, over the bar.
Okay. Anyone who big scores, obviously, you
Luke
just...
Shaw's coming on.
Stop.
And Lingard's coming on. So
That's
Fellaini will survive.
Surprise, Shaw's.
This is how we should... Yes, get Fellaini off. Bloody great substitution that is. Lingard for Fellaini and Shaw for Darmian. What a cracking sub. I'm absolutely the best double substitution ever.
Lingard's going to score a brace and we're going to win.
Right. At least he's trying to address the mistakes.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Lingard already setting it up.
Well, I think somebody said, well, just there, well, I can't believe he's taken Fellaini off. Last 20 minutes, you might want to go long ball. This is the genius of playing Fellaini at the start, because actually, flip it around, you might be bringing Fellaini on now.
Right.
Because to go direct, we've taken him off because he's been totally ineffective. We're doing it the wrong way around. But on the other hand, I think Mourinho realises he needs to go a little bit quicker, and he can't do that with Fellaini. So we've got it arse about face, really. We should have started with a team like this and ended with Fellaini on the pitch, but we get it the wrong way around.
Yeah. I do have to say, I feel like no matter what, we would complain about Fellaini, so I give that a point. But, yes, I think it would have been more useful at this precise moment to play long ball. But we need 2 goals, so going to have to break them down at some point.
Apparently United are 12-1 on Betfair to win it. I'd be tempted, if I wasn't doing this live, I'd have a go.
Well, to be frank, I also just placed a live bet, so I get it. I bet us.
Well, we've already started better anyway, because Ashley Young, who's a right footer, is on the right hand side. Luke Shaw, who's a left footer, is on the left hand side. If our manager is lazy, our players will be lazy, says Amy Adamson. Already, I can see the mood in the live comments has gone up. My mood's gone up because suddenly it's like, you know, we've got rid of the 2 players that really shouldn't be part of this club anymore. They've had their time. They're not good enough. And Ashley Young, I'm not just going to blame them too. Ashley Young has been moved off the pitch. Moved to a different side.
Come on.
Luke Shaw. Come on. Trouble is, Huddersfield are parking the bus now, so that long ball option, not long ball, but you know what I mean, that loft into the box would have been useful, but...
Yeah.
We're moving the ball a lot quicker now, though. Hit it, Marcus. Oh, good save, keeper. He did hit it as well. Just outside the box he was. Good old whip on it. Lingard. Mata. It's all a little bit intricate. Fair play for Rashford for shooting there. I think sometimes you have just got to shoot. Carl Evans said this was Martial's chance, nothing, sell him. You need to understand football, Carl. They've not had anything, the front three. You can't judge a player when they don't get anything. Ronaldo would have been on this pitch with nothing. Let's see what happens in the last 20 minutes now that we're actually trying to attack. That's when you judge players. Here is Martial. Mata. Into the box. Oh, good tackle. Take a dive. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it, Jesse. Oh. Into the keeper's arms. Getting better. Jamie Miller says getting better. It is.
Oh. Yeah, they're
already
playing
looking
up.
better, says Alex. It is. It's much more exciting. This is like...
Yeah.
Might be a bit of a B-Tech Man City, but this is like Huddersfield Man City if they were winning 1-0 with 20 minutes to go and everything's on the edge of the box and there's lots and lots of passing. It's far more entertaining than hitting a long ball.
Yeah, let's...
McTominay's going to come on. Wonder who he's going to come on for. Oh, I wonder if
Pogba.
Matic, maybe?
I could see Pogba. I don't think it makes sense, but I think that Pogba's not had a great game. Pogba or Matic.
If he takes Pogba off, I'd start thinking about these rumours in the summer again. I really would. Well, Pogba should have made a tackle there. Pogba's not been good though. There was a tackle there that if he wins it, Rashford was in. Alex says they'll take Pogba off. Well done, Jesse. See, Lingard... Look, when I say Lingard is a squad player, I don't mean that in a bad way. He's come on, he's shown some energy, he shows some effort, and I just don't think you can win a title with him in the starting team. It doesn't mean he shouldn't be on the bench. Thunderpants, I would like to call in after. How do I go about it? Skype Goldbridge, all one word, mate. Should have made these subs at half time, says the Rampage Gamer. Yeah, probably right. Probably right. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's see if we can get 219,500 tonight. We're 55 short. So if you've not subscribed, bottom right hand corner. Fantastic community, as you can see. Loads of chat going on. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. We've got the Transfer Daily as well, which is kicked off last week. So lots to get involved with. And if you love United and you want to talk about it, which a lot of people do at the moment, Pogba, yeah, I think Pogba does need to come off.
Playing like crap. And he couldn't just dribble like a normal person. Everything has to have flair in it, which I think has been Mourinho's big complaint about him.
Lynn Hall says we've left ourselves 20 minutes to start playing. Yeah, it's not long enough, is it?
No. Deservedly losers. Well, we didn't lose yet, but we are deservedly playing like shit.
It's not. I mean, somebody said, if you lose, you're going to go mad. I don't think I will, and I think the reason for that is I've got a resignation feeling about this season. I think the Liverpool thing's playing on my mind. If they win the Champions League, it doesn't really matter if we win every single game we've got left 10-0. It won't cover up the fact that Liverpool are going to put us in a cave for 5 years if they win the Champions League. That's playing on my mind. Good play here by Martial. Don't shoot. Oof, he did.
Yeah. Oh, it's a nice shot.
It's his quick fit.
Well, at least someone's going for something.
Bloody hell! It was very close. Very close. Rojo for McTominay. So we're going all out. 3 at the back.
Shaw has a 6-pack of what, beer? McTominay grew on me though. Could be good.
Yeah, well, he's going to come on and give some effort, and I think that's he's not slow. Well, he is slow, but he's not slow compared to Matic and Fellaini slow.
What's the comment of the day? Why are you hating on Liverpool? Oh, what is that? It's a bad tackle.
Craig Melville says, how can anyone defend Pogba's contribution? I'm a big fan of Pogba, but he hasn't had a good night tonight. He's given up a few times. He's not gone into tackles. His passing's been off. He's taken too many touches.
It's everything you don't want to see out of Pogba.
But on his game, he's unplayable. But it's the consistency problems with Pogba, and I don't know what they are. I don't know whether it's, if he's not happy, I don't know.
Second place would have been secured if we won today too, which is, Mourinho's big target of the year. So, big loss
Pogba,
for him.
Move it now. Yes, good. Luke Shaw's coming forward.
No, he has to keep this up.
He's all right footed. That's the problem. No, Paul. Want class of 92 in with Sir Alex showing them, says Michael Wood.
Yeah. It's not even like any emotion, nothing. Nothing out of Mourinho. Crazy. Still can't believe we're down to Brighton. Joke.
Are we playing FC Barca Brighton? Well, you know what? We've given a few people their results to remember this season, haven't we?
That's funny. Brighton drew us before. There we go. Come on.
Right, Martial's just volleyed one over there. Would have been a worldie again if he'd scored it. He's had a couple of efforts tonight. Very difficult.
Ooh, it's better than the other people who've done nothing. Nice pass by Mata.
Lodney was right about Pogba, says Mohammed. It's a shame he's not on.
Yeah.
I think with Pogba reflects Manchester United though, doesn't he? He's sometimes good, sometimes bad, and what you need to be if you want to be a title-winning team, you've got to be mostly good. You can afford 1 or 2 games where you're poor a season. I think with Pogba, he's 50% good, 50% bad, and that's never going to be good enough until he starts getting that consistency. I remember watching Pogba in the last in the Euros in the World Cup as well. And no, once to win the World Cup, it would have been the Euros, and I thought he was very inconsistent in that.
Yeah. Again, this World Cup will be big for him because that shows if it's Mourinho or if it's Pogba. But we saw Pogba against City, so you know he can do it. It's just not consistent. Yeah, Huddersfield, Newcastle, Sevilla. We lose to shit. Also, happy 80th birthday, Mr. President. I don't know who they're talking about. President of their weird club. Good for them. Come on.
So we've got 10 minutes to go. Come on. I can't believe we're going to lose this game. Even when we were playing badly with Fellaini on the pitch, I didn't think we would lose it. So there's got to be a chance in it. As I said, though, the stupid thing is, you could do with Fellaini at this moment in time. Just to whack a lot, to mix it up a bit. But, he starts in. Maybe he's trying to prove a point, isn't he?
I was thinking that. Like, maybe he's just not playing him, so everyone's like, oh, we really need Fellaini on right now. That's a nice play by Pogba. Luke Shaw's... Oh, I can't stand him. Thing is, Mourinho's going to get torn apart by the press for this. And the fans.
I don't know. I think Mourinho... I don't know. We'll be live when them comments are made by Mourinho, but I don't know.
I was happy with Fellaini, but everyone else played like shit. That's going to be what Mourinho was saying. Okay. Luke Shaw's over. I mean, he does look moderately.
Ooh, well over. It would have to be a worldie, that would. Seven minutes to go, folks. 7 minutes to go. I think Lynn Hall was right though, Jared. I think we left ourselves with a big old mountain to climb, really.
Yeah, but it's only Brighton. Is it really that big of a mountain? Or should it be that big of a mountain?
We watched Fergie lose his last home game. Fudge it, says Thunderpants. I think the way we've approached this game, the mentality is, the momentum of it's gone, isn't it? 70 minutes, and you try and change it round. And I mean, Huddersfield had just parked. I keep calling them Huddersfield. Same thing, innit? Brighton are just sitting back, and why shouldn't they? But United are just, Rashford.
It's good. We're going to lose to Brighton.
We do miss Lukaku, of course we do. Luke Skywalker says, it pains me to say this, but De Gea deserves better.
Yeah. That's why they better get him to sign a contract soon. The longer this goes on, the quicker Real Madrid could come for him. Although he did say a comment this week where he was saying next season, so good. Man of the match, De Gea. No one else.
I think Rashford's not been great, has he?
No.
I mean, I know people will say I'll sell Martial because they don't like the Martial FC movement, but I think Martial, I wouldn't give him an 8 out of 10, but he's shown bits, and he had that really good shot, and he's tried to be creative. I think Rashford really, the one that stands out for me with Rashford was that, and Rashford's my second favourite player at United. It's his that cutback in the first half that should have been 1-0, and it's a bit like Pogba. I think Rashford's had a similar game, too many touches, the decision making quite poor.
You wonder if the first minute goal had gone in and not been offsides, would have been a different game.
I don't think it would. I think we still would have had the same midfield that Brighton would have probably got at us a little bit more.
Yeah, but we would have been 1-0 and it would have stayed like that. So we would have at least won, but played like this still. I feel like this is definitely his game plan coming into today. Trying to understand. Come on. Nope.
Gary Wells says it's well and truly Sporty's weekend. If you like Karate Kid, get on YouTube and watch Cobra Kai. It will lift your mood. Do you ever watch Karate Kid, Jared?
No. Shockingly.
How old are you?
Little wax on, wax off. 31.
No, maybe not. Here we go.
I should have.
Here we go. Oh, Jesse! What a backflip by Rashford, and he's saying it should be a corner. It was a good chance. It was a good bit of build-up play between Lingard and Rashford here. He's running, he's spun, which is what Jesse likes to do. Knocks it to Rashford, back hit, and I think it might be a corner. No, it wasn't.
Forget.
It wasn't. Jay Wood says, I think they just don't give a fuck because we're finishing top 4 and in the FA final. Nothing to play for in these last few matches. Yeah, but you know what? As Roy Keane always says, you put that shirt on, you put on more than a football shirt. And players, you know, some of these players are playing for World Cup places. They're playing for an FA Cup place. So 86 minutes.
Second is better than sixth. Yeah, but we're still playing like we're in sixth. Yeah, I think he should have finished that. And we lost. Unbelievable.
You feel that Lingard chance might be the best one, but you never know. There's still a few minutes left. Full-time phone-in, Skype Goldbridge. Straight after this, I'll set the link. I'm setting up the link for it now, so we will be taking your calls. I've had a few people requesting can they come on, but do call in and have your say. There we go, Luke Shaw. Natural left wing cross. Oh, he's took too many touches there as well. Just whip it in. Everybody wants to take too many touches. He's got the perfect ball there and he takes an extra one. Put the bloody cross in. As a defender, you don't want the ball coming in quick. If someone takes a touch, you've got another second to set yourself. I don't understand how these players are paid so much money and our coaching staff are paid so much money and everybody takes an extra touch like they're playing in a playground game. Surely high-end football should be quick. You know, you should be able to just do it with one touch.
Just antiquated tactics and antiquated play by this team. I find it's just, you know, it's an older style of play.
Yeah.
To break the teams like this, you have to attack them the entire game.
Well, I'd love that Rui Farah to get the Arsenal job simply because Mourinho would have to get a different assistant coach. And I think he surrounds himself with the same people all the bloody time. And I think it's a bit archaic. Sir Alex used to change his assistants quite regularly.
Yeah. I think that guy, I can't pronounce his name, but Klopp's assistant will end up getting that job. The guy from Dortmund took over at Arsenal, and I think they're bringing over a lot of Dortmund talent. Oh, so no penalty at all, no foul. So frustrating. Yeah, I like Verratti too. He's not bad.
Radu Christian says there is a cataclysmic difference between the United and Liverpool, and them not being second is unfair, and that is painful to say. Yeah, but you might win the Champions League, mate. Thanks for the contribution. And then you won't, second, third, and fourth makes no difference. There's not many United fans who are ecstatic about second place. You know, it's nice, it's better than third, but it's not the be all and end all.
Come on. I don't know what to say anymore. I just don't know how Mourinho survives these games much longer.
Well,
the board, yeah, I don't get it. The board has to be aware of it.
He's like a scouser, isn't it? It's never his fault. This won't be his fault tonight.
Right. I didn't.
It won't be his fault. But actually, I think tonight Well, I'll keep it to the match reaction, but really I think there's one thing about tonight that is his fault, that actually if he had the benefit of United in front of him instead of his own agenda, it would have made it tonight a little bit of an easier game to get a result in. I think he made a big error tonight, which I'm going to talk about in the match reaction, which people will probably predict anyway, but as soon as the team selection came out, I was like, why is that happening? And it's a personal agenda over what's best for the club. Lingard, I thought he was going to hit that. Young, no. 4 minutes of added time for United. Cross by Young. Martial gets up and heads it wide.
It's just not enough.
Another substitution for Leicester. For everybody who's going to be having their say and wanting to call in, the link for the match reaction is in the top sentence of the video description, and it will also be on the homepage as well. I'm just going to add it to the playlist as well. So we'll be live straight afterwards, taking your calls. And unless United can grab something in the next minute and 50 seconds, it's going to be another embarrassing result. And Mourinho was only saying the other day, Jared, that we've got to stamp out these Huddersfield and Newcastle results, and we've gone and done it again by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent with how this season has gone. Just as we're about to pick up steam, we screwed up against a team that we have no excuse losing to or drawing to. Just a joke. We just look like we don't look like second place in the league. You don't look like a top 4 team in the league. And without De Gea, it would have been 3-0.
Who's your man of the match, De Gea?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. I'm just going to change the live chat to the reaction stream because I want to just go live instantly after this.
Pogba. Young taking it up. Nice little pass. And nothing. Again. That joke. That's it. We're offsides. I assume that's going to be enough. Nice work, United.
Well, thanks for coming on, Jared.
Unfortunate result, but it was a pleasure, Mark. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, it's not quite over yet, but we're not far off.
Seems that way. That'd be good if you're a Brighton fan.
And that's it. Brighton have beaten Manchester United. Well, I'm going to keep most of it back.
All right. It's been a pleasure, Mark. See you.
Thanks, pal. I'll speak to you in a bit.
See you, bud.
So we're live. I'm going to go live right now. Brighton are reacting like they've won the cup. United have lost again. And link in the video description, top line. Going to get over there and start this stream. We'll literally be live in 20 seconds. I'll see you over there. Link in the video description, top line, or go through the homepage. See you in a minute.